Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the 2020 Sofa Summit. Mark Hart and Sean Tagge here, for those of you that are just chiming in. And this is the day where we're going to actually bring you into the field of Memphis so you can see the different neighborhoods. We'll put everyone on a tour bus and go drive around and see the different properties. But today, since we're all sitting in our sofas and our computer chairs, we're going to bring it to you.
Yes, to you. So before we dive into our lineup of what we're going to be talking about today, first off, we want to take a brief mention of our sponsor for today, Closed Track Title Company. So Greg Ziskin, he's the main attorney for that title company. I like them a lot. So they're a great title company. They definitely check your title, making sure that you're furnished with clear and marketable title. Very important thing. Their team provides excellent communication. Their fees are very reasonable for the amount of service they give and competitive. So we're super excited. And also, they've decided to give away today, by being a sponsor, this Yeti right here, this Yeti cooler. So we're giving it away to a lucky investor today. How you can win this Yeti cooler is today participate by commenting and asking questions on this chat box, wherever it is in this area. We'll be answering all those things, and we're going to pick one lucky winner to win this Yeti, sponsored by our gold sponsor, Closed Track.
All right, so now let's dive into the lineup for the day. We're going to start off with an out-of-state investor interview from a current investor that we started the relationship with over a decade ago, and he's going to tell his story. He's from California, like the majority of y'all are. He's going to tell more about what he likes about working with our organization and what he's investing in today.
I'm real excited to hear from him. Next, after that, you'll be seeing me on the ground. I'm going to be going over a property that we are just about to buy. It is a hoarder house. Now, but surprisingly, they're kind of an organized hoarder, okay? So
that's a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. I just claimed it. It's a thing. A little bit organized, stuff's all in there, but there's some cool little trinkets in there that I myself might be considering taking. So we'll be going over that, and I'll be with our acquisitions manager, Hobbs. So he's out making offers on properties, trying to find these properties for you to buy that we can fix up all the way. So we'll be diving in that way.
All right, then we're going to do property deep dives into the A-class, B-class, and C-class neighborhoods, to where you and I are going to be analyzing the deal together so you can understand how we look at the opportunity. But then, best of all, we're going to actually go meet up with Sean, and we're going to go do more of an in-the-field walkthrough of the neighborhood as well as the property.
Yeah, so I show you a couple houses that are before, so you can see the amount of renovation we put on these properties, and a couple finished products. So you can see our fully renovated turnkey properties, the type of tenant preventive maintenance properties, things we put in there. Also the big things we're looking for, our renovation guys. We have Derek Phillips. He's one of our renovation managers. He has great experience of all the houses he's renovated over the years. So he's looking for all those details of the tenants, the things that they're complaining about. We try to take care of all those issues up front to provide a great, clean, safe place. A win-win for the investor and the tenants.
That's right.
Okay, then after all of that, I'll be diving into a multifamily apartment complex that we just bought, and we actually syndicated it with a couple other investors that we know closely, and it was a 124 apartment complex. I'll be diving into what that type of deal looks like. Like, some people think it's so overwhelming or what that even takes, but we break that down piece by piece. I show kind of what we're doing on a $2.5 million renovation. And most of all, I really like it because we're improving the community. We're providing a good, clean, safe residence. This property was definitely dilapidated at purchase, and we're the past couple months since we bought it, May of 2020, what it kind of looks like today.
And then to wrap it all up, we're going to have a word from Jim Reedy's son, Brad Reedy. He has been instrumental in the growth and the day-to-day operations of the company here, specializing in acquisitions and scaling our apartment portfolio. So that's going to be the day today. You're going to absolutely love it. But once again, we want to make sure to send this Yeti cooler out to one lucky investor. So all you have to do is submit the best comment or question, and we'll ship this out by the end of the day.
All right, so let's dive on in on how to become a passive income machine.
Welcome everyone to our next session for the 2020 SOFA Summit, where today we're going to spend some time with a current investor that has gone through the MIP and the Reedy & Company process multiple times. We've been working with this individual for over a decade now. So he's got a lot of experience with the Memphis market, with real estate, and with our team. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Steve Gutierrez to everyone. Steve, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much, Mark. Thank you for having me.
Well, we really appreciate you spending the time to share a little bit more about your experience with our audience. So we'll just jump right into it. Why don't you start off and just tell us a little bit more about your story and your background?
I'm born and raised in Southern California, and I'm the youngest of five. Even went to college here in Long Beach and got my degree in finance, and just love being involved in real estate and help my mother out with a couple of rentals they had. Especially I got involved after my father passed away when I was 18, so I was already kind of involved for about 20 years in real estate.
Wow. So you're also a part of a group that we call the Rocket Scientists. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So there's a group of about 12 to 14 of us that have all now, since I experienced my nice results with Reedy & Company. Other people have seen what I've done, and they've all gotten involved, and we got a nice community. And I think I even got a few more that may be coming in here in the next few months.
You're a legend. Great to see. Yeah, we love your group. We love how you've been out to Memphis multiple times. It's just really great to build that relationship. So talking a little bit more about Memphis, what do you like about the Memphis market?
Well, I think the thing that is the number one thing for me, Mark, is the ease of getting into that market. The prices are, what I initially saw, I think, are unbelievably low, to compare to Southern California. I originally thought about getting into the real estate here in Southern California and buying a house, but I just thought it was so risky and I couldn't make a profit. And I'm like, wow, there's got to be a better way. A friend of mine showed me Memphis and how to get involved in it. And I did jump at it after looking at the numbers, since I'm a finance guy, and the numbers made sense.
Definitely. I mean, it's mind-blowing because most of our investors are like you. They're in California, and you can buy one rental property for $500,000, or you can buy 5 rental properties in Memphis in great neighborhoods and diversify as well, to where if you have issues with one renter, well, you have the other 4 to make up for it. Which is just great to see.
And especially here in California too, I hate to say it, but the laws are written for the renter instead of the owner. And I did experience, we did have trouble getting renters out, and it took us 6 months, and it really cost us a lot to get them out. So
goodness.
I was thrilled about California.
Yeah, the landlord-friendly laws are polar opposite between California and here in Memphis. That is for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So why don't you just tell us more about how has your overall experience been in these last 11 to 12 years that you've been working with Jim Reedy, the Reedy family, and Memphis Investment Properties? How's that experience been?
Well, it's really been fantastic, and I'm going to share something with you I don't think you know. When I originally purchased my homes in Memphis, it was with a different supplier, and this company said that they could not only sell me the properties, but they could do the management to it. And when I went in and bought my first 3 houses, they promised me that they were going to do good property management. And you know how key that is, and it really makes the difference in making money or losing money. Their property management was terrible. And the other guys that I went in with it, they ended up losing all their houses. But for me, I decided, and I told my wife, I gotta keep trying to figure out how to solve this problem. And I just went on the internet every night after work, and I ended up seeing a TV interview that Jim Reedy did with, I think, like a Channel 7 out there. And I told my wife, I go, I'm going to call that guy tomorrow and see if he can help me, direct me in the right direction. So the next day I called and I tried to talk to Jim, and the secretary goes, "You got an appointment?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Well, he's pretty busy." And I said, "Ma'am, it's an emergency. I really need to talk to him." And after pleading, she, believe it or not, she put me through to Jim, and I told him my situation, and Jim asked me some questions. Who did you buy it from? And he goes, "Oh, I know that guy." And I said, I signed an agreement, management agreement I can't get out of, and all this. And he goes, give me your phone number and give me 20 minutes and I'll call you back. And after 20 minutes, he called me back. He got me out of my contract. He got all my money sent to me. And the very next day, he sent his guys over and signed new management contracts with all my tenants. And man, you cannot believe how much, how overjoyed I was with that.
Yeah.
And I guess that gives me more, trust in Radiant Company, because my experience over the last 10, 12 years has been fantastic. Not only is the greatest news sometimes, but you're honest and dependable. So that's been huge.
Definitely. No, we appreciate you sharing that. And that's the thing, that real estate investing, you're going to have great years, but you're also going to have bad years. When you have a tenant turnover, or maybe you have a tenant that doesn't pay rent, or worst case scenario, you go through an eviction. These are all things that, as a seasoned real estate investor, you've experienced them all, because we've experienced them all. It's just great to have a process in place for when that happens. And as long as you're honest and transparent, just like you said, then that's what allows you to get through it together and grow. And that's exactly what you're doing now with the company. So why don't you tell us more about, what were you investing in the past over the last 10 years or so? And, what are you investing in now today?
Well, since my degree was in finance, I did a lot of stock market stuff. But, even with my degree and other people I tried to work with, man, it is so difficult to make money in the stock market. You have no control, basically. Bigger issues in life, whether somebody wants to shoot a missile off or something, it depends on your future. And so once I really didn't have that control, real estate really was the place for me, because not only do you have control over the asset, that you can really direct your you could really direct your time and efforts into building that. And it's really wonderful, and all the tax benefits, and I could go on and on about all the wonderful benefits you get with real estate.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's, with the stock market, you're really just getting the appreciation, maybe small dividends, but, with real estate, you get the appreciation, the cash flow, the tax write-offs, the tenants paying down your mortgage, and it's a hedge against inflation, and you get the leverage into it. Oh, you can just go on and on. And so you started off investing in single families, and now you're investing more into our apartment syndication. So you got into our last deal. Why don't you talk more about that?
Yes, I got to tell you something. This is something I've dreamed of. I think if Jim really helped me get through that first hurdle, I'm breaking through everything now, and I'm just like, I'm going for it. So this real estate opportunity for the apartments is fantastic. It's something that I've always dreamt about doing, and now I've experienced it once. Now I'm gathering all my money for the next round to hopefully get into the next one coming shortly. I'm refinancing my units, and it's incredible how exponentially it seems like real estate can be. They've all grown in value, and so now I get to get the equity, and now take that equity and put it into something else that'll actually just continue just to grow. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And you're right. And what your exact story is what we recommend for every investor. Start out with single family homes, hold on to them for, like you did, over a decade, grow that appreciation, grow that equity, have the tenant pay down your mortgage. And then now what we've been doing with Steve is we've been refinancing some so he can capture that equity. and put it into apartment buildings. And we've also sold some so we could capture that equity and put it into apartment buildings. But what's great is that, we've been able to help you every single step of the way.
Oh, it's been fantastic. I really love the journey. I really love the people at Reedy. Everybody is wonderful to work with there. I haven't had a bad experience with everybody.
Oh, it looks like we lost your camera.
Okay.
All right, perfect. No, we appreciate that tremendously. So this is the final question. We want to be, mindful of your time here. So what advice would you give a new investor looking to get started in real estate?
I think the most important thing is you can analyze and take a look from the sidelines and see the numbers and everything. But at the end of the day, with real estate, you got to just take that chance and jump in. I've never regretted it from the very beginning, even though I had that tough time. It's opened up amazing opportunities for me, and it'll really help out you tax wise. And it's just a wonderful way to grow your wealth. And it's I've been there. I've been there when you're first thinking about doing that first deal, and it's really turned out to be something that's been a big blessing to me and my family.
So you're glad you did the first deal, and then you get to grow from it. So you're saying that the next deals just get easier and easier as time goes on.
Yeah, I think, Mark, the key thing is when I did it, there was no internet, no owner portal. There was no, real big structure. And now, since I first started investing to where Reedy and Company is now, it's incredible. I mean, you guys help every step of the way. You and Sean have that whiteboard meetings on YouTube. I still love watching that and doing that and seeing that. It's fantastic. And so you guys now really have the opportunity to really handhold an investor all the way through to make it a real pleasurable experience. And I can tell you that the other people that I've worked with are really happy with, asking and answering all those questions, and those videos really help out a lot.
Well, thank you so much. And that we'll definitely continue to go down that path. We're just here to help educate you. Love what you said. We really are here to hold your hand, as the experts, to make it as easy as possible so you can focus on your family and your career, and you don't have to stress about the cash flow and the investment. So, well, I appreciate you, Steve. That's all the questions we had for you today. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your experience. And it's great to have a lifelong partner.
Hey, I'm happy to be a partner with you guys, man. I'm not going anywhere.
We appreciate you. So that's it, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that quick Sofa Summit session, and you guys have a great day.
Hey everyone, Sean Tagge here with our acquisitions manager, Eric Hobbs.
Hey, Eric Hobbs here. We buy houses.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we're on another one of our properties. This one, we have not even purchased it yet. We're about to close in the next couple weeks. We just feel like we'd like to show you the before and also kind of walking through, getting to Eric's brain of what he's looking at as we're purchasing these properties. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this exterior kind of things you're seeing, Eric?
Yeah. So this one here, a little different than the other one that we looked at. But this one here is almost what I call a grandmother special or whatever. And so what I'm looking at on the outside, I'm kind of looking for some of the same things. Obviously the roof, the main thing that I'm looking at, the roof needs to be replaced. As you can see.
So why does this one need to be replaced? It looks okay, but what are you seeing?
Sure, obviously. So when you're looking at the roof, you're looking at a couple things. See the tabs, some of the tabs up over here.
Okay, so they're kind of peeling down a little bit.
Kind of peeling down a little bit. You can see the indentions in some of these. Some of the older shingles, back at a certain point, I don't have the exact year, but asphalt shingles, they don't fold. But these older ones, you'll see the indentions in them. showing that the roof is a much older roof.
So up on that little corner by that tree and then kind of the crevice up there?
Yeah, you just see indentions. Normally the roof's supposed to sit like really flat on the house. And so the indentions just tells me that it's a little older.
Okay.
So this is a roof that we were replacing, put a brand new roof on this particular home.
It's good to see. And then of course just the cosmetics, some shutters, landscaping.
Yep.
Just working all that into our budget.
That's the typical, right?
Well, let's walk on in and check out what Eric looks at every day.
Yeah, this is a good one.
All right, so this one is one that I kind of would define as a hoarder house. I'd say kind of like an organized hoarder house, right?
Right.
Not terrible. I mean, they got their dishes in this range, some books and some other things. They got some nice bowling balls right here, so that's nice, you know, just in case. They look like the bags are actually vintage, man. Like you can see that on like some collection show, and they like fix those up. So anyways, yeah, what are we seeing here in this house for repair wise?
Oh man, so this one here is again, this is what I call your grandmother's special, right? The house was built, you know, probably in the 1950s or something, and you know, it needs everything. You know, it's everything that was originally in the house is probably still here. And so the house is going to need a little bit of everything. You can see here cracked ceilings.
Peel and cracked ceiling, yeah. Maybe some leaking or something. Or
that's probably from the roof, you know.
Right.
Definitely.
The bad roof, huh?
The bad roof, there you go. So signs when you come inside, you say it's a bad roof, and then you come inside, you see the signs of the bad roof.
Yeah, verifies it.
Yeah, very right. And then, you know, the older vents, I mean, that's something you typically don't see in houses today. You know, they do have these nice hardwood floors that we see in the other property.
I was gonna say, dude, I would love these hardwood floors in my house. These will be a pretty easy sand job too. So the tenants would love these, and I would as an owner.
Yeah, these are the ones that we probably end up keeping unless we find other issues once we take all the stuff out.
That's half the battle. You don't know with all the stuff in here.
Yeah, man, you take the stuff out and the floors are. That's another thing. You know, what you can't. You're looking at houses. And it's so much stuff here, right? I can't move everything out the way.
That would take and like people usually put their couch over the rough spot, right? And
that's
their rug. That's what I would do, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, God, man, how many dumpsters do you think this is gonna take?
I mean, this house right here with the exterior stuff, and we'll check out the backyard here in a minute. But this house is probably gonna take 3 to 4 dumpsters, easy. Probably, I'm gonna say 4 to 5 dumpsters.
4 to 5 dumpsters. What? So you kind of what's the biggest dumpster house you've seen? Like how many dumpsters?
Man, I think I didn't get the privilege to seeing this, but I think we did like 8 to 10 on a house.
On another house.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't get a chance to see it.
So just depending on how high it is, if it's knee length, it's probably like 2 or 3, and then waist, it's 4 or 5, and up to your head, it's 10.
10. It's 10. Up to your head, you might want to call in.
That's
it get pretty serious up to 10.
Up to your head, it's 10.
Oh man, that's crazy. But the crazy part, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And so this is
Yeah, it smells a little like moldy, I guess, in here in the roof, you know. So that's probably definitely going to be all cleared out. We'll definitely be looking for that. So, okay, yeah, let's keep walking through.
Yeah, cool, man. Let's go towards this towards this kitchen.
Definitely someone has not lived here for a while. I can kind of tell. Just it doesn't look like it.
Right. And a lot of the original stuff in this house, you know, very small kitchen. You see here a lot of the stuff that, and I don't know if you can see this, but like fuses, right?
Yeah, talk about that. Electrical panels. We didn't dive into that.
Yeah. So, you know, when they built these houses back in the 1950s, 60s, you know, maybe part of the 70s, the houses were built with fuses. They weren't built with breaker boxes and things like that. And so a lot of the older homes will have these. And again, the grandmother special, right? You know, the grandmother's been living here forever, passed away.
Yeah.
And the fuse box never got changed out. And so this is typically stuff that we're going to do, and that's the stuff I'm looking for in a house. Do we need to replace the panel and put a brand new breaker box in it? And that's an expense. And so we're definitely looking at that on every single property.
Right. Yeah, and this kitchen floor, probably, it's actually kind of like pretty flat in all this. We'll probably just replace this panel with hardy board and put some nice tile over this kitchen is probably what we'll do here.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. New dishwasher.
Yeah.
Paint the cabinets. Man, this right here is crazy, right?
Man, is that coming back design-wise? I don't know.
I don't think it's coming back. I think
that's funny. Look, they even got some lighting there. Too.
Yeah, I think it's a statement, right?
That's fancy, yeah.
But yeah, you don't see this typically, right?
That usually is on the exterior of your porch, you know? You're wrapping on that.
That's right.
Oops, sorry.
But yeah, definitely nice. And you know, we'll take that down.
Yeah.
All right.
And then also, I was talking to Eric, like in one of our zip codes, 38117, just about a couple miles east of here. This type of house with this floor and this size, this would be a $200,000, $300,000 house, all
Easy.
fixed up nice.
Easy.
You know, we're just, you know, we're over more towards east in 38111 zip code, which just hasn't regentrified obviously as much as that. But when they're kind of connected, those two zip codes, it's fringing over a little bit.
It is, man.
The path of progression. You know, I'm not saying it'll be here soon, but this area, we're kind of driving up this street. You know, every other house is nicely renovated, pretty nice. Some others are dilapidated, like this one.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just seeing that and going through, and that's what we're a part of. So it's kind of fun for our investors to be a part of that too.
Oh, absolutely. Find the gems.
Yeah, find the diamonds in the rough.
That's right. So this here we're gonna walk down to.
Watch your step.
Yeah, watch your step. This is a add-on, right? We talk about additions to properties. And with this addition to this particular property, what I'm looking for when I see additions, because obviously, right, it's DIY type stuff, right? Do it yourself. So the first thing that I'm looking to see if the owner pulled permits.
Right.
So that's major, because if they didn't pull permits, that now you know it was probably somebody's uncle or cousin or
contract.
Yeah, come out. Oh, we can make this a room, and everybody just got together and did it. And so a lot of stuff that you look at are I don't like to use the word ejaculate, but a lot of stuff that you're looking at is stuff that might not be up to code.
Right.
Or,
So looking at that.
yeah.
Stuff.
So that's when you see the DIY stuff. Just pay closer attention to it, because there will be some things that might not be up to the code or to the local code, right? And
this one looks okay. I don't see any like cracks or anything crazy going on. It looks like it's done a while ago too.
It was definitely done a while ago. So you have a washer box in here, and you also have a dryer connection. They ran the cord outside the wall, put it over here.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover that up and everything.
That's right. And so that's the type of stuff we're looking at, though. I mean, that's the type of stuff. Because we bring this up to code, because that's exactly what we're going to do.
Right.
And make it all nice and neat.
They added this on too, huh? That's good.
Yeah. So we go into the bathroom.
Oh wow! This goes back all the way into a bathroom.
Yeah. So this area here. This location where we're located in 3111, most of the homes typically are you want me to get
in the bathtub, man. Hop on in.
So most of the homes that we look at are one bathrooms, right?
Right, and these types of areas, these 50s, 60s houses, 38111, 117, yeah, they're just kind of 1,200, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,100, yeah.
Yeah, they just little houses. So this is what a lot of people did. This is why they DIY'd it, right?
DIY.
DIY.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. So
do yourself. I don't know what the other one is.
DIY. That's a DIY. So
that's fine.
So DIY, right? And so this is one of those things where they want to add the bathroom.
Yeah, they want that second bath.
Yeah, they want
another
the bathroom.
extra little bed too. Yeah, bath-ish. Yeah.
So you just want to make sure when you're looking at these, you know this is an add-on, you know this is an addition, and so just looking at the things that might need to be redone to bring it up to snuff.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely gonna need some patchwork there. Yet again, the roof. You know, definitely needs a new roof.
So I'm gonna check this out, like this right here, right? You got a hole down here,
right?
And come
look
up
at that
to fill the hole up.
That's a great way to stop it, guys.
Rubber alcohol, right?
Yeah,
and so,
sure.
So yeah, man. So I mean, so stuff like
it's
that.
Gonna need some repairs. We're definitely factoring a little bigger budget on this one. Look at this too. Look, guys. I don't know when they were thinking of renovating this, but it needs a whole. It has some laminate or floor in there. Okay. We could maybe use that for something.
Oh yeah.
This is nice though. You know, nice little bathroom.
Back door.
Back door. All right, sorry about the mess there. Let's keep walking through.
Let's keep going.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, let's say
guys, look at this. I hope the seller leaves this. They said they're gonna come clean everything they need, but I'm telling you, man, the little you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
If the world ever ends, you'll be okay.
Man, you're good to go. You need a solar panel, and you know you're good. Anyways, that's
good.
Stuff.
That is pretty antique. Yeah.
I want some of that. Oh yeah, nice floors. Good again throughout here. Let me flip my
Get some
light on.
lights.
Yeah, so check out that bath. Dude, okay, go look at that bath floor. That's some cool. This hexagon tile on the floor, that's coming back, man. I saw that in a new build.
Yeah.
So yeah, look at that.
That is coming back. That is showing you absolutely right. The subway tile that they put down with this and the new houses.
Look at that. What is it? The glass back there, dude. That's nice, man. Look at that fish. Anyways, some good stuff, man.
Yeah, some good stuff in the house. But we'll definitely, update those.
So here, this one has a little light. We'll throw on in here.
Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of the same deal.
Stand right here.
Typical bedroom, right? Looking at the room from ceiling to floor, right?
So that's what you do. That's kind of your process, huh? You go ceiling to floor.
Yeah, ceiling to floor, because obviously, just think about it, you walk into a room and you notice something else and you never look up and you never look around. So the thing about it, you're looking from ceiling to floor, from wall to wall.
Then you kind of do like a right turn all the way.
To make sure that you're not missing anything, because I promise you, if you look at enough houses, you can miss it. I mean, it's very easy to do. And so from ceiling to floor is the best way for me to make sure that I'm not missing major things in the property.
Right.
And major things are going to be structural things, stuff that the structure is not sound, doorways being crooked, those are major things.
Right, love it. Doors being crooked, things like that. Yeah, this is good. Well, anyways, the other two rooms, pretty much darker, but look like this. Man, I'm loving these floors.
These floors are going to turn out great, man. We should be able to sand these and refinish them. Man, they'll look like brand new floors.
Anyways, yeah. So guys, that's another one of our houses. The day-to-day of Eric Hobbs, what he's doing. What this owner in particular, do you know kind of their story, why they're looking to sell? Yeah,
so this owner here, basically they inherited the property, right? Actually the seller that's selling it to me grew up in this house. They grew up in the house, the grandmother owned it.
Right.
This house has probably been in their family over 50 years.
Okay.
And it has a lot of sentimental value with a lot of people that it does. And so it kind of set for a minute because they didn't know what they wanted to do.
They're thinking about it, just kind of let the emotions go through. Yeah, I got you.
But finally they make a decision. They give us a call. We come out. We make an offer right there on the spot, and we get the house right on the contract.
Yeah, we make it easy for them. They can close quick or slow. They can leave all the stuff that they want, and we'll take care of it.
That's
or
right.
They can grab everything they want to and close on their time frame. So we're just kind of helping someone out, and also like helping a property that's kind of blighted on this street, that's looking a little blighted compared to the others. We're going to turn around, put a nice other family in here.
That's right.
This house. Or individual, who knows?
That's right.
Make it nice. So yeah,
absolutely.
There you go, guys. We're proud to present this one. Once you see kind of our before, you've seen some of our afters as well that you'll see. So you'll see the amount of work and the elbow grease put into these. This one is one of our bigger renos, I would say.
Yeah, this is over 30,000.
You got everything, 30,000 plus, because you got the big roof, the floors. A lot of patchwork and stuff to do. So yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey everyone, I have a quick message from one of our sponsors, aaron.Chapman at Security National Mortgage. If you're in need of a conventional mortgage, aaron.Chapman and his team are the place to go. He is the unconventional conventional lender and is a true veteran in the space. We've worked with him for many years now. He's one of our top preferred lenders, and we've done hundreds of loans together. He will fight for you, and his team is full of rock stars. So if you're in need of a loan, call aaron.Chapman at Security National. Thanks, guys. Hey everyone, Mark Hart here, and I'm really excited for the next session for our 2020 SOFA Summit, where we're now going to be taking a deep dive into each one of the different neighborhoods throughout Memphis. We have the A class, the B class, and the C class here, and we'll dive into a particular house in each one of those different neighborhoods, and we'll also show you video footage so you can actually get to understand what the neighborhood looks and feels like, because it's our goal to bring Memphis to you on your sofa. So let's dive into 2730 Fletcher. This is going to be in an A- neighborhood out in Cordova, Tennessee. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll get this started here. All right. So here is the wonderful, beautiful map of Memphis with downtown right next to the river on the west-hand side. And as the farther east you go, the newer and the larger the homes are going to be. So the subject property that we're going to be talking about now, 2730 Fletcher Cove, is going to be located out east in an A-class neighborhood called Cordova. So Cordova is going to be next to just north of Germantown, which Germantown is what we call A+ dollar signs. It's the highest income per capita in the entire state of Tennessee. So you definitely won't find cash flow there. Then it's also next to Bartlett, Tennessee, which is another A-class neighborhood. So it's tucked into a great part of town. Most notably, what's going on here is this is where we focus on a lot of our new construction. So a lot of new developments going on out here in Cordova, predominantly building the house to sell onto the retail market, selling it to a homeowner. So here, a very small percent of our business, we will actually purchase, renovate, and sell homes on the retail market. And the majority of what we're going to do is here in Cordova. So these are properties that are worth $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. And one thing that we love about the Cordova submarket is just how quickly and how much demand there are for these houses on the retail side. When we list a property, we're getting multiple offers the same day, and we're doing highest and best, and they're going for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over list price. So the Cordova submarket is absolutely on fire. So if we can get a $150,000 to $200,000 rental, that's going to be just a great asset in the long run, because down the road in 10, 20, 30 years, you could sell it to a homeowner as well. So that's one of the big benefits of the A-class neighborhoods here. So real quick, the difference between an A, B, and C-class neighborhood: the A-class neighborhood is going to be 90% or more homeowners and 10% or less renters. Then the C-class neighborhood is going to be the polar opposite. Just about all renters and a few homeowners. And the B as in boy is going to be the average for Memphis, right around 50% renters and 50% homeowners. So some of the big benefits of going into an A-class neighborhood like Cordova is steady, consistent appreciation. Over the last, since 2016, Memphis has been appreciating at around 5% year over year. And a market like Cordova is going to be on the higher end of that spectrum, coming in around 6 to 7%, if not more, year over year. So you get some great appreciation, at least historically speaking, of course, and you can also get some great cash flow. So let's, real quick, it's always great to drive around and check out the street view of the properties. So here is the house with the little white car. That is the subject house. And this rental property is on a cove. So very desirable among renters, nice safe place for families and to have their children run around and play. So as you can see, beautiful neighborhood. Most of the homes that we're going to have here in Tennessee are going to be brick. The larger houses will have 2 stories, but the majority will be single-story ranch style. But as you can see, just absolutely stunning, big, beautiful houses here. It's just a great, quiet, clean, safe neighborhood, and a beautiful place, you know, to own rentals. All right, so now diving into our Google Drive, our due diligence vault, where we have all the information that you need to make an educated decision on whether or not this investment will be a good fit for your portfolio. And always recommend starting out with the pro forma. So this house here on Fletcher Cove, sorry, at a sale price of $174,900. So this is, just to clarify, a sample property that we have already sold in the past. We've gone full circle on the home because we want to show you the before, the during, and the after. So this home here already sold to an investor. We had an appraisal get performed and it came in at $176,000. So about $1,100 over our sales price. As of recording this video, on average, our appraisals come in overvalue $2,300. So you should expect to get, a little bit of equity on your property day one. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,700 square feet, built in the late 90s. So that's great to see since our average home is built in the 60s and 70s, and it has a garage. So A-minus neighborhood. This property here is a target rent of $1,450 per month. We were able to hit that rent on a 2-year lease as well, which we were really excited about. All right, so then as we scroll down here, you'll see most notably the net cash flow of $279 per month. This is going to be the cash flow after vacancy reserves, after maintenance reserves, and after all of your expenses. So this is the annually $3,300. This is what you can now go and reinvest into another down payment for another property. At least that's the goal. So then down here, assuming you take a conventional mortgage, which is putting 20% down on a 30-year loan with a fixed interest rate, you can get 10 of these loans. So assuming you put 20% down, this has a cash on cash return of 8.7%. And once again, that is after vacancy reserves, maintenance reserves, property management fees, and most notably, that is also after taking into account closing costs. Because when you calculate the cash on cash return, it's really important to make sure that you add in the down payment of 20% plus closing costs. So just be careful of that. Make sure you always add that in to get a true cash on cash return. So absolutely incredible. You can get that almost 9% there. What we love is that we only put a 2.5% as the property appreciation rate, and that's going to give you an 11.4% ROI. Reason being is because you're not buying this property in cash, paying $175,000. You're only putting 20% down. But what's great about real estate is you get to keep all of the appreciation. So even though you only put 20% down and the bank finances the other 80%, you get to keep 100% of the appreciation. And assuming you just get a 2.5%, so significantly below what this neighborhood has been performing, that's an 11.4%. So if you really calculate it out and it's closer to that 6 to 7% year over year range, well, now we're talking almost 20-30% ROI per year just from leveraged appreciation. Two beautiful words there. So then also your mortgage principal reduction, the tenant is going to be paying the rent, which covers the mortgage, and that will go and increase your net worth ever so slowly at a 6.2% return. And then you get some tax savings as well. So even being in an A- neighborhood, you can still get this 29.2% total return on investment after paying us to be your property managers and to have a full renovation be performed. So that's a little bit more about the pro forma of an A- home. Now what we're going to do is take a quick look at the scope of work here. So this is a perfect example because when it says new, that means we personally are going to be, during the renovation, putting on a new 30-year architectural shingle roof. If it says installed in 2020, that means the previous owner installed the item at that time. And so we're just going to service it, clean it, and make sure that the heating system and the central air conditioner are in great shape. These items will have a 1-year warranty because we have a construction warranty on every single one of our turnkey properties. And what that means is if there's any item that we fixed on our original scope of work that actually breaks within the first year due to poor construction and a poor job, well, then we'll go out and fix that for free. We'll actually just send the work to the original HVAC technician that did the work to begin with. and they'll do the work for free. So we'll have that on every single one of our turnkey properties for 1 year. So then here's a perfect example of the water heater, approximately 2 years old. So that means we're going to leave the water heater in the home. So it will be 2 years old. It does have that 1 year warranty as well, because we will clean and service it. But it's our goal to make sure that all these major CapEx items are either brand new or just a few years old, so you can wrap those costs into the mortgage day one. Then the flooring is going to be hard surface flooring in the living room, kitchen, and the bedrooms. And then appliances are yes to a dishwasher, no to range, yes to vent-a-hood, and no to a refrigerator. And that's because the tenants will bring their own appliances, which is great because that means when they break that they're going to pay for them to be repaired. All right. Another thing that we put in our due diligence vault is going to be our MAR Data 3-up report. So this is a comparative market analysis, the same overall process that the appraiser is going to use when they're trying to figure out what is this home actually worth? Is it worth $175,000? Is it worth more? Is it worth less? And what they're going to be doing is they're going to look at the features of the home, the square footage, the bedroom, bathroom count. They're going to look at the parking of the property. And most notably, they're also going to look at the interior and exterior condition of the home, right? There's a big difference between a house that just received a new renovation and is in great shape, or one that hasn't had any love and care for 20 years, right? So that's why the appraisers will actually go into the property to confirm. So here, if you look at the price per square foot, that's $99.66 per square foot. As you can see, the comparable sales that we use when we set the sales price, they come in at 107, 103, and 103. So you always want the comparable sales price and price per square foot to be over what the subject property is, because that means you have the best chance to get some equity day one. And once again, that does happen on average, $2,300 for our properties here. All right, so now what we're going to do is just take a look at the professional photos of the home. All right, so here's a picture of the bathroom. Nice, clean, safe tub. We have the tile. Always want to make sure you have hard surface in the wet areas. Love how there's actually 2 sinks in the bathroom as well. So you don't need to put in all the brand new white countertops, marble countertops. It's not needed in all of these houses here in Memphis, Tennessee, because our renters really just want it to be clean, safe. They want to make sure that the roof doesn't leak when it rains, that AC works in summer when it's really hot. Here's a perfect example of our luxury vinyl plank floors. Instead of adding carpet to the main floor, which would be a little bit less expensive, we put in the higher quality material of the LVP floors because it lasts multiple turnovers from the tenants. So that means it's a maintenance preventer and it will reduce your turnover expenses down the road, which will ultimately increase your cash flow. So that's what we focus on when we're doing our renovations, and we'll have Sean and the team really dive into that a little bit later. It's also great to see the master bedroom with the big old vaulted ceilings. There's an extra beautiful bathroom here. All right, perfect example of the kitchen. We have the tile floors. These countertops are for mica. Once again, we do not need the granite here in Memphis. Here's the type of appliances that we will add. This is it for appliances. The rest are going to be brought by the tenant. It's absolutely incredible because it will reduce your overall expenses. We also like to keep we don't like our cabinets to be white because then there'll be fingerprints on them between the tenant turnover, and you're more likely to have to repaint them. We can't just clean that off. And so if we can keep it a gray tone color, well, then maybe we can just clean the cabinets. And once again, if we can let things last through multiple turnovers, that's just going to help you in the long run. All right, nice dining area there. And then beautiful shot of the front exterior. So now we're gonna actually go to the property and show you some footage from this exact house, this cul-de-sac. So you can see we did drive around the Google car, but we also want you to see real footage so you can actually see and compare and contrast the two. So hope you enjoyed it. Let's go check out the property. Hey everyone, Mark Hart here, and welcome to the next session for the Sofa Summit, where we're going to take a deep dive into one of our single family turnkey rental properties. Also, so you can learn a little bit more about the neighborhood and the area that it's located in. So first things first, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to dive into a property in the northern Mississippi market, which we also call DeSoto County. So for a lot of you that have never looked at a map before, Memphis is located in the southwest corner of the state of Tennessee, right at the border of Arkansas to the west and Mississippi to the south. So we don't do investing in Arkansas, but we absolutely love northern Mississippi, or this DeSoto County area, for a lot of reasons. First reason that we love the area is just overall demand from renters. So we have actually a waiting list of tenants that are already approved, have deposits ready to go. They're just waiting for available properties in this part of town. So, wow, that is absolutely incredible to see. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one is just the overall jobs and job creation in the area. So Memphis as a whole is the #1 fastest growing industrial market in the entire United States of America. So we're absolutely thrilled about that. And what you want to focus on is, well, where within the city is that growth actually happening? And that's actually the majority of it is happening right over the border in this northern Mississippi, DeSoto County area. So when you go down there, a lot of jobs being created, everything feels really new. So that's why we really love this part of town, because it just got incorporated in the latter half of the 20th century. So it was one of the fastest growing counties in the entire United States of America, and it was the fastest growing county in all of Mississippi. So the tenants also really like it. Besides the jobs, they love the public school systems there. You can have schools that are a 4 out of 10 all the way up to 9 out of 10, just depending on where you want to go and how much rent you want to offer. Some other things that are great from an investor standpoint in Mississippi is that it's even more landlord friendly than the state of Tennessee. So what that just means is that the eviction process is a little bit quicker. Then from the negative side, the taxes are going to be a slightly bit higher over here in Mississippi, and that's mainly to pay for the public school systems. So it's normally only 10 to 20 basis points higher. It's not double or triple by any means necessary. So definitely worth it. There's also income tax in the state of Mississippi, but the tax write-offs, if you do your taxes properly, should allow you to not pay any taxes on the cash flow that you receive. So here, looking at the map, you'll see that we have Memphis downtown. You go out over to this Berkeley area, that's where our office is located. So we want to make sure that we're within roughly 30-minute drive of our office, so we can get to the properties quickly, for maintenance calls, so the tenants can get in quickly. And all the way down here on the south side of town is going to be the Memphis International Airport. So this is the busiest air cargo hub airport in the Western Hemisphere and the second busiest in the world. So second to Hong Kong, China. So this here is where a third of all jobs are located in the Memphis market, because once again, Memphis is the distribution center for North America. So you'll see all of these white rectangles. Well, that's just distribution centers, warehouses for all the supply chains of our major corporations. So of course, you want to be close to major employers. And that's why we go even farther across the border there's multiple towns here. There's one that's called South Haven. That's a beautiful A-class neighborhood. We absolutely love investing there. And then just to the west is going to be Horn Lake, Mississippi. And that's where the subject property is that we're going over today. This part of town, we've been investing here for many, many years now. Our investment properties here have done very well. And that's why we want to continue to invest here. So if we now go over into our Google Drive, this is what we call our due diligence vault. Every single one of our properties is going to have this marketing material for you to review, so you can really understand the ins and outs and get a full picture of the investment property. We believe in transparency and just showing everything to you on the front end. So at the very top here, all these folders are going to be photos. We're going to have before photos, during photos, and a professional photo once the renovation's completed. You're also going to have a professional video giving you a walkthrough of the property. And we just started adding some drone footage so you can see the roof. So we got that feedback from you guys. We appreciate it. Then down here are going to be some attached PDFs. These PDFs are going to be, you'll always see this under construction sign, because this is what the property looks like before or the day we bought it. So we want to let folks know this is not the finished product. This property is getting that full turnkey renovation. Next will be the scope of work, then the pro forma. Down here in Mississippi, we've got great schools, so we took a snapshot of that. And then some more information about our company and the detailed step-by-step process. So what I always recommend you guys look at first is going to be the pro forma. Reason I recommend checking out the pro forma first is it has the majority of the information that you really want as an investor. So first, the address, the location, Horn Lake, Mississippi, the details of the home. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. For us in this area, the average properties that we're going to be seeing are going to be normally 3-bedroom properties. So if you can get that 4th bedroom, that'll definitely help increase the rentability of the property. Then we'll have properties, everything from a 1-bathroom all the way up to a 2-bathroom property. So that's just going to increase the rent and increase the value of the home subsequently. Then the square footage, 1,237. It was built in 2000. That's a little bit of an outlier for us in a good way. Of course, the best properties and the most ideal properties are brand new ones. The average that we're seeing here are going to be in the 60s and the 70s. So if you can get anything newer, that's always a bonus. Then parking, C1, that stands for a 1-car carport. You'll also see a D for a driveway and a G for a garage. So here in the Memphis area, we're in the Mid-South, so it's warm. We don't get feet of snow. So you can have and leave your car outside and you'll be fine in the morning when you start it. So that actually is the norm. Having any covered parking or a garage, it always helps, but that's just going to, once again, increase the cost and increase the rent as well. So here, what's really great to see is the neighborhood rating. This is what we believe the neighborhood rating is. We rate our neighborhoods A, B, and C based off the percentage of homeowners to renters in that neighborhood. So the A-class neighborhood is 90% or more homeowners and the rest renters. Then the C-class neighborhood is going to be polar opposite. Almost all renters and just a few homeowners. And then the B as in boy class neighborhood is going to be about the average for Memphis, which is about 50% homeowners and 50% renters. Now, this being in a B plus neighborhood means the majority of your neighbors are going to be homeowners. We also have D as in dog class neighborhoods. However, we don't provide turnkey rental properties in those neighborhoods because it's too difficult to get a long-term quality tenant that takes care of the home and pays rent consistently for your consistent cash flow. All right, so the sales price here, $128,900. The way we figure out that sales price is using a comparative market analysis, the same strategy that appraisers do. So that's how we set our homes. The goal is for the properties to appraise. We ran all the numbers, and actually on average, our appraisals that have come back came in overvalued $2,300. So that means you get some equity day one, which is just incredible and is ultimately the goal of buying all rental properties. So the really important parts of this pro forma are the top right, where you have all the details of the house, the target rent here of $1,095. Then I like to quickly jump down to the net cash flow. It's always good to see, but that number isn't, don't just buy a property because it has a low cash flow or a high cash flow. What you really want to look at is what was your initial cash invested and what is your annual net cash flow as a percentage. When you divide the two, that's going to get you your cash on cash return. And in this instance, that's a 10.5%. So once again, I have to put the disclaimer out there that this is just a projection. So none of these returns are guaranteed. They are not guaranteed. So, these are all just assumptions based off of how our properties have been performing in the past. So this is what you should expect to see on your rental property here. Next thing they like to look at is the property appreciation. We put a 2.5% appreciation on these homes to be very conservative. The average appreciation over the last 30 years is 2.49%. So that's why we use the 2.5 number. But then over the last 10 years, the area has been doing better and it's moved to 3%. And then since 2016, it's been 5%. So that's what a huge testament to the city itself. We still just want to be really conservative on these projections here. So that's why we use the 2.5% metric. One thing to note though is there's a difference between a return on investment from appreciation and the actual appreciation amount, assuming you get a mortgage and you take a loan. So if you put 20% down and let's say this house increased in value 2.5%, well, that's $3,223 worth of equity that you now have in the deal. When you divide that by your initial cash invested, so what did you have to spend to buy the property? 20% down plus closing costs. When you divide that, $3,223 by the money you spent to get the investment, that's going to be your return on investment of appreciation. And just the conservative number that Memphis has been growing at for 30 years, it's at 11.1%. So I think that's just really fascinating, is that from a conservative 30-year standpoint, these properties appreciate at over 11%, which is already better than the stock market if you're putting it in an index fund on the S&P 500. So that's great to see. Then also your mortgage principal reduction. Every time the tenant pays rent, that goes to pay your mortgage, and that's going to get you some equity every single month. It's going to start out small, 6.3%, and that, if you look at the amortization schedule, that'll actually be increasing every single year. If you take it out and you look at the average annual return on investment from mortgage principal reduction, it's just over 13% year over year. So once again, just by having a renter in place, paying down your mortgage, and by being in a market that has the appreciation of 2.5%, you add those two together, and we're talking over 20% return on investment. And that's actual, data. Then finally is your tax savings return on investment. And we highly recommend you reach out to your own CPA to figure out how these tax benefits are going to help you. But there's some incredible things called depreciation. You get to write off all the property expenses here over on the left-hand side. And you can even do cost segregation studies if you want. So if you add all of those up together, that's going to give you a total return on investment of 31.3%. That's absolutely incredible. And that's the whole reason why we invest in real estate. So we also recommend, when you do look at pro formas, that you always use the same pro forma and to compare different properties, especially in different markets. Because if you look at different pro formas, the numbers could get skewed. Someone else can use a pro forma and put the same property on here and change the percentage of the return on investment based on the assumptions that are in here, like the appreciation, the vacancy, and the maintenance. The one thing about all of our pro formas is that they include all of our property management fees, they include vacancy reserves, maintenance reserves, and they include closing costs when you're calculating your cash on cash return. So that is a full, transparent pro forma. And getting over a 30% ROI projected is absolutely incredible. So now what I like to do is take a look at the scope of work, right? What is actually going to be done to these houses? So it's our goal to make sure that you don't have any deferred maintenance on these properties when you buy them. Make sure your CapEx is zero or as close to zero as possible. So now I recommend looking at the scope of work. So here's going to be a photo, once again, of what the property looked like when we bought it. Then what we want to focus on are the major items, the roof, the mechanicals, the floors, because those items are going to make up the majority of the cost of a renovation, and they're also the easiest to hide and to leave out. What we see is a lot of other folks will have a 20-year-old roof and they'll just let that slide, right? Well, we want to make sure that those items can be new or like new every single time. So here we have the roof, new. So what new means is that we are personally performing that renovation, as we speak on the property. Sometimes they'll say approximately 5 years old. So if we do buy a house that has a 5-year-old roof, well, we're going to keep it because it's at the beginning of its lifespan, but we will let you know on the front end what that finished product is going to be. Some really important things in the overall philosophy, and the reason why we want this all to say new, or like new, is because we want you to be able to wrap the majority of that cost, the cost of the roof, the HVAC, the floors of that renovation, into the mortgage. What we mean by that is you really only get one chance to pay 20% down on the property and finance the other 80% of the asset. So that means the tenant pays rent, the rent covers the mortgage, and the mortgage covers that 80%. So that is one of the best ways to get the longest and the best return on investments. And the opposite way of looking at that is going to be, well, you could buy a house with a 20-year, 25-year-old roof on it. You may have a few extra years left, and you may get a $5,000, $10,000 discount on the property. But when that roof goes out, you're going to have to pay 100% of that value in cash to put on a brand new roof. And so the math doesn't work as well. And that's why we decided to put on, and we want to make these items be as new as possible. And the tenants absolutely love it. When they look at our properties, they just want to make sure that it's going to be clean and safe and functioning, right? When it rains, is the roof going to leak? In the summer, is the AC going to work? And when they see it has a new roof and a new HVAC and a new water heater, well, that gives you the best chance to get a quality tenant that has the best chance to stay, because the longer they stay, the better cash flow you're going to get. So that's just how we look at these types of investments and the why behind the renovations that we do. On average, we're doing about a $30,000 renovation as well to these properties, and that's our cost. That is using a lot of in-house crew members and buying our materials in bulk at a discounted price. So that same $30,000 renovation would probably cost $35,000 or more if you were just to hire a general contractor, off of Craigslist or whatnot, that wasn't able to get that economy of scale. Because when we buy roofs, we buy hundreds at a time. When we buy HVACs, we have them shipped and stored in our warehouse in the back, 5,000 square feet, dozens at a time. So it's nice to get that volume discount. So next, we're going to dive into the flooring. We put hard surface. There's a few times where there will be carpet in the property, and that's really only when it's on the second story, because you can't really put hard surface flooring on the second floor because it's really loud. But on the main floor, expect hard surface, whether that's luxury vinyl plank or tile. Now, we're going to spend a little bit more by putting the LVP floors in the bedrooms and in the common areas, but it's going to be a better product for you. And since we buy all of our materials in bulk at a discounted price, we can put in higher quality materials. A lot of our other folks will put in carpet, which is fine, but you're going to have to replace that carpet between every turnover. It's just the way things are. But with the LVP floors, well, you can reuse that through multiple turns, and you can pop up one little shingle and replace a brand new section of that floor. Another example of that is going to be the roofs. We put on higher quality material, 30-year architectural shingle roofs. These types of shingles are going to lay on top of each other as opposed to a 20-year 3-tab roof, which is going to be a little bit less expensive, that you may also see. But once again, we want to put on that higher quality maintenance preventer for you so you can wrap those costs in on the mortgage in the beginning and get the highest possible cash flow for years to come. All right, next is going to be the appliances. This is definitely going to be a weird one for you guys because the tenants are going to bring their own appliances. That's correct. You heard me right. The tenants will bring their own appliances. We will go above and beyond and put a vent-a-hood, so the little fan at the top of the stove for safety. And then we'll also put a dishwasher in the property. But every other appliance, the tenants are going to bring on their own. And I mean refrigerator, stove, washer and dryer. It's incredible because those are the items that get used daily and most frequently, and they also break the most. So you don't have to worry about getting a maintenance call because the ice machine broke. That would just be awful. So that's going to be up to the individual tenant to pay for on their own. So big benefit there. There are times when we will add appliances. That's like to our A-class new construction homes. And then there are also times when some of our smaller houses don't have space for a dishwasher. So there are a few caveats to that as well. All right. So then we are also going to be doing all the detailed cosmetic items to the house as well. We just don't put that on this pro forma here because we want to just focus on the major items that most people try to hide, because the cosmetics, those are a given. So every house is going to be newly painted inside and out. We're going to repair all the rotten wood. We're going to perform basic landscaping. We're going to upgrade the plumbing and electrical fixtures. So it's going to get the works. And if you do want a detailed line-by-line item scope of work on the house that you're interested in acquiring, just let me know. We're happy to share that with you. All right. So next, with this location in that northern Mississippi, DeSoto County, once again, this is what we love about the area is the public schools are incredible. You can get a house for $130,000 that has a public school rating as a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. That's absolutely amazing. And that's one of the main reasons why we have a waiting list for renters in this submarket. So incredible place to own rentals. All right. So then finally, it's great to look at the photos. So we love looking at the pre-renovation photos so you can see what the property looks like when we bought it. Some houses, they look pretty decent when we buy them. Other houses, they're absolutely destroyed down to the studs and even burned down. So this property here, what you can see, perfect example of the roof. So since these shingles sit flat, that's how you know it's a 3-tab roof. And then you can see the coloring. I can zoom in a little bit here for you. You can see how there's a discoloration on the roof, and that's because they did a roof repair or a roof patch. Looks like it must have been leaking. So many signs that this is a very old roof, and that's one of the reasons why we decided to put in a brand new 30-year architectural shingle roof. All right, so here's some more photos that you'll be able to see. We try to get as detailed as possible. You can see the backyard has some major overgrowth, needs some work to the fence. Here's some pictures of the water heater, which is too old. That's got to be brand new. You'll have pictures of the bathroom, of the different rooms. So nice to just quickly glance. It's really not in too bad a shape at all. This previous homeowner took great shape and great pride in their property here. We'll show you some before photos that are just incredible. So that was the pre-renovation photos. So we take that, and what I recommend looking at is going to be the professional photos. So on every house, we're going to hire a third-party professional to take photos of the property so you can see the finished work and the quality of what we do. We're also going to film a video, little walkthrough, and that'll have the drone footage as well. So here's a picture of the exterior. We use the same materials at every single house so we can buy them in bulk. So the houses will start to look the same. We love this gray exterior with the white trim and the architectural shingle roof here. Beautiful photo of the bathroom. You'll see most notably that we'll put in Formica countertops. So they're not granite. You don't need granite here. It's not the norm, just that Formica. It will last through multiple turns. Then the tile here, this looks to be the original tile, which is great. There's no reason to replace this. You don't need to have the high trendy white tile brand new here in Memphis, because our residents, our renters, they just want clean, safe, and functioning. That's really all they're looking for. And when they look at this house here compared to some of the other properties on the market, they just absolutely love it. And that's why they're renting our properties before the construction is even done. So here's a beautiful example of the LVP floors, brand new furnace, and so on. Nice picture of the kitchen, nice, clean, safe, and so on and so forth. All right, so that's everything that you're going to see from your computer, right, inside of our due diligence vault. But now for the Sofa Summit, what we want for you is to actually take this image, everything that we just went over, and now we're going to go actually to the property itself. So we've got Sean and our supervisor that did the construction of the property to do a little walkthrough. So you can take these photos here, look at all this due diligence that we just did together, and then now you can actually see even more detailed about the neighborhood, the street, and the renovation quality. So Sean, Derek, off to you.
Hey everyone, Sean Tagge here, and we are here live at one of our properties here in Horn Lake, Mississippi. It is just about 10 minutes south of the Tennessee-Mississippi state line. It's 3285 Mayfair, and we are here with our one and only Maine Superintendent, Derek Phillips. Derek, how you doing today, man?
Doing well. Glad to be here, Sean.
Awesome.
I'm always excited when Sean asks me to be a part of anything that has to do with marketing, and I'm really always excited because this is my passion. This is what I do, and turning these crappy old houses into beautiful rentals is what I do best. And so thanks for having me here.
Dude, man, yeah, we're real excited. Yeah, so Derek, you've been with us at Reedy for how long?
Oh, going on 5 years now.
Yeah, and tell us how you kind of started out and all that.
Well, I came to Reedy as a punch-out man. I was going into houses doing quality control. Jim saw me working for a contractor that worked for him directly, and I actually became kind of friendly with Jim, and we talked sports on the job site, and I ended up giving him a call a few years down the road, and he hired me on the spot to come and be a punch-out man, and he knew I had a great eye for detail, which makes me good at this and putting out a quality product. So
Yes,
I was coming in and just like putting the final touches on properties, making sure all the lights work, the towel bars are tight, and all the doorknobs and work and doors close, just things like that. And then I was promoted from within. So
yeah, love it, man. And yeah, just for those punch outs, it's like the last little details, the last 5%. That's usually like the hardest part that takes so long, is that last 5% of the renovation.
Absolutely, Sean, and it's the most important part because those are the last eyes on the property. So they're making sure every single little detail is going to be up to par as far as the home inspection comes in. We want as few items on there as possible, and the punch out man is the most important part of that.
Love it. Yeah, so you did that as a punch out for about 3 years, and then you've been on a renovation supervisor for about 2 years now with us?
A little over 2 years, yeah.
So what do you do in that role now?
Well, my job now basically is I get an email and it says, here's your budget, go to the property, get it started, get the ball rolling, and we can walk through that process as far as what that looks like if you want to, however you want to do it.
Sure, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we have a budget. It's 3 pages long. It just has details on all the things that we need done, interior, exterior, plumbing, just all those things that we come up with when we buy the property, knowing beforehand what we're going to renovate. And it's just up to our turnkey standards. So yeah, and you're managing all the crews and everything like that. So yeah, we're going to go into this property and check out kind of what most of our properties look like, what kind of our renovation standard is. So first, why don't you just go over the exterior a little bit? What do we typically do
real
on our
quick?
properties?
The first thing I'm doing when I lay eyes on the property is looking at the curb appeal. The first thing we want to do is get the thing on the internet and get talk about the property, get leasing going
for the renters and for the investors.
Yeah, a lot of times we've got deposits put down on these properties even before I've started any work on it. So these things rent themselves because we know, the people know about the quality of product we put out. So the first thing I'm doing is cleaning up the front, getting some curb appeal going, getting all the rotten wood done. I put the roof on, I get all the brush cleaned up off the front. This house in particular had a mountain of trash out front, so I had a cleanup crew come to that and get all the brush cleaned up in the backyard. The backyard was a big mess. As you can see, the 30-year architectural shingles, our brand new roof is on there. It looks beautiful. This house had a lot of rotten wood, so we got all the rotten wood repaired, replaced, and painted, and pressure washed, everything cleaned up real nice. So get that those marketing pictures out there as soon as possible.
Right, yeah, and we usually just have, we'll paint the trim, and like Derek mentioned, if there's any wood, replace, and then we have those black shutters. I mean, most tenants and people like us, when I'm driving, I can be like, oh yeah, we renovated that one. We can tell what our house looks like. Number one, it's the best looking house on the street.
For sure.
I mean, hands down most of the time there. And then also it's just clean, we keep it simple. We're not over renovating it, we're renovating to the standard that the tenants will like. So yeah, that's that. So let's go on in, let's walk inside and check it out.
So a lot of times, the first thing we want to do is get the house secured. So these brand new security doors go on with our smart lock system.
That's nice. So it's living rooms, yeah.
This property in particular came with these tile floors, which is nice, and it saves us money, and it saves the investor money. And so what we really did was come in first and fix a lot of the Ristex on the ceilings. We had some sheetrock repairs going on. We updated all the plugs and switches. Everything in here is brand new as far as plugs and switches goes. This house had some trash in it, so we got it cleaned up really quickly, got the paint done. If you want to come on this way, this room here is a bonus room, and it had a bunch of old carpet in it. We pulled the carpet out, and it had some pretty nice stained concrete floors in there, so we went ahead and left those.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we not, flooring wise, what flooring do we typically put in our houses?
Typically, we put down luxury vinyl plank, and this stuff is durable. I mean, a lot of times you'll have renters come in and tear up your carpets or tear up your hardwoods, put irreversible scratches in those hardwood floors. With this luxury vinyl plank, it's almost unbeatable. You can't tear it up. It's hard to tear it or rip it, and it's durable to water and all kinds of pets or whatever it may be. So we love it, and it lasts forever.
Yeah, so usually luxury vinyl plank or tile or concrete if concrete's there, and that stuff just keep it indestructible. So flooring's real important. That can be a big deal, and these last several turnovers of tenants because of that hard surface.
Yeah, absolutely. It saves a ton of money for everybody.
So let's check out this kitchen and tell us typically what do we do for our kitchens?
Yeah, typically now, again, this house was in pretty good shape when we came in. We left the countertops. There's no scratches or scuffs or marks. Usually if there's any damage at all, we're going to go ahead and replace them. This is a brand new sink and faucet. We do that pretty much on every house just because it saves a lot of trouble with tenants, having maintenance issues. It's a small expense to save a lot of trouble down the road. So we got a brand new dishwasher. We put a brand new dishwasher in every house. This is a new vent hood as well. These go in every house as well. The cabinets are in really great shape. They were dirty, so we cleaned them up. There was some grease on them, and they were just pretty nasty, but a little elbow grease goes a long way. So they look great, and this house is ready.
So in summary, kitchens, we check the countertops. If they need to be replaced, we will. We do most of the time. Cabinets, if they're in good shape, we'll clean them. If they're in okay shape, we'll actually sand them down and paint them, and that's kind of cool too. We get some neutral colors in there. And then if they're really bad, we look for rotten wood and other things like that. We try to replace them. If not, we'll replace them completely. Then also we skip the refrigerator and a stove and all of that because the tenants, that's their job to have. And as a landlord, if a fridge goes out 2 years later, it'd be on you if you provided it. But if it's the tenant's fridge, it's on them.
Exactly.
So that's why we skip out on that. In other markets, I was like, that's kind of weird. But in this market, that's what the market rent supports.
So makes perfect sense.
Yep. All right.
So here we have the laundry room. A lot of times these washer boxes are old, outdated, and
leaky,
and these are a big problem for tenants too. We get a lot of maintenance issues and callbacks on these. So a lot of times we replace these. So this one in particular is brand new. So we cut this wall open and replaced all of the drain and water lines in this system and put a brand new washer box in there, and along with the dryer vent. So this laundry room is brand new. Everything's up to code and ready to roll, and we're not going to have any maintenance issues whatsoever in this laundry room.
So what I love there is that Derek's always mentioning like this causes future issues. It's because he actually takes the tenant calls the first 90 days to a year. When a tenant moves in, he's actually personally handling those calls, so he's the one who hears
That's right.
it. And the reason why we did that strategically is because then he's more accountable on the back end, and then also on the front end he can think, oh well, I'm sick of hearing these tenant calls on this or the dryer vent that sometimes is plugged up because all this lint.
Absolutely.
So he sees those issues, and we're actually trying to proactively just be like, hey, how many little bit of tenant issues can I have for this month? And
I love being held accountable for all of this stuff. All it does is make me a better superintendent. It makes me more diligent on the front end, and it saves everybody money. So I'm happy to take the maintenance calls because, like I said, I learn a lot. And
yeah, there's several things we've actually learned from that, and now we're like, including it more into our budget and our rental on the front end, just because we're trying to save the headaches on the long run. It also makes the tenants happier because they'll stay in longer because they have less issues. That first 30 days is very important also for the tenants to be like, oh, these people are on top of it. They care about it. Then they're more forgiving on us years down the road when there's maintenance requests.
First impressions are everything.
It's a big one, yeah. So we work on that a lot. All right, let's keep on going through here.
So in this house, we do have a brand new heating and air system. As you can see, here's the brand new thermostat, and we like to leave the instruction manual for the tenant so they don't have any issues. Also, we don't put the auto-programmable thermostats in there. This is real basic, simple digital thermostat. It's almost dummy-proof, if you will. So, because I used to get callbacks on those programmable thermostats. Like, I can't figure out my thermostat. Well, sometimes I can't figure it out. So we simplify the whole thing, put a nice easy digital thermostat in, and it saves the whole issue.
That's great. So let's check out these baths.
Again, we do a hardware package too. If you look around, as you notice, all of the doorknobs and door stops and all of these things are brand new brushed nickel. It's one of those things that just saves a lot of trouble, because these things fall apart easily, especially if they're old and outdated. So it's a small expense to pay to avoid trouble on the back end. And as you can see, like, we put towel rings in as well. All the faucets we replace 9 times out of 10. So this all looks really great. This is a brand new toilet we put in. We did paint this vanity. This vanity was pretty nasty, so we went and put a coat of paint on it, make it look a little nicer.
What do we generally do in bathrooms?
Generally, we're always going to run snakes through all the drains. We want to make sure that there's no clogs on the front end, because again, it's all about saving trouble with the tenants for me. And we make sure all the toilets are the insides of the toilets are working well, the flappers, and there's a lot of checks we do just to make sure things are operating properly. A lot of times we replace the P traps under the vanities. Like I said, we almost always replace the vanity sinks.
Yep.
And
then if needed, we leave the tile or not. This one was actually in good shape, so we
this was a bread and butter house. This one was really easy. It made my job easy. Rich, if you'll just take a look around here, we put GFCIs in most of our properties too. So this is all brand new electrical stuff here.
That's nice, yeah. Okay. Sure, let's talk about HVAC.
Well, that's a brand new furnace. I think if it's 10 years or older, we replace it. It's pretty simple. A lot of times these systems will last a long time, but for the turnkey properties in particular, we want the investor to have all the mechanicals and hard floorings put in there up front and know they don't have to worry about that expense later down the road. Yep. So this is something we do 9 times out of 10 on all the turnkey properties.
Right, if it's a few years old, of course, we'll just fix it up, tweak it, do a whole check on it, but most of the time those things are nice. So most people like looking at a picture like, oh, well, this was an easy reno, man, these guys aren't spending that much, but we spend quite a bit because your HVAC, your roof, and also your water heater, those things just add up. Those are your biggest ticket items actually on your renovation. Yeah. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, these guys are just slapping some paint on. No, we're actually going deep into the big mechanicals, plumbing, electrical.
We want to make a turnkey property that lasts.
Right. Yep. Okay, let's check out these bedrooms.
So this is going to be the master bedroom. It actually has 2 sets of closets. It has his and her closets here. As you can see, it's pretty nice. So this is a good example of the luxury vinyl plank we were talking about in the living room. Yeah. This is brand new luxury vinyl plank, and it's put in all the bedrooms here. I think they had carpet originally, so we tore out the carpet and put in the luxury vinyl plank. As you can see, it's beautiful. And like I said, it lasts forever.
Yeah, I've seen this in actually like nicer, newer built homes. They'll put just kind of a little better quality in this, so it looks a little more like hardwood. But we're actually debating on my personal house, like hardwood or really high-end luxury vinyl plank, because my kids are gonna scratch up those hardwood floors. And like my kids are like 4 and 1, and 2. And so I actually I'm almost preferring like luxury vinyl.
It's actually smart to put it in. I don't think your kids could tear this up if they had a weed whacker going across.
And if they do, it's just one little piece. They need
that's the beautiful part about luxury vinyl plank. If a piece gets damaged, it's really easy to pull up one plank and replace that one plank. If you have a tongue and groove type flooring put in, you're pulling up the whole room to replace one little damaged piece. Yeah. So it just saves a ton of money no matter what. So
bedrooms, and as Derek mentioned, these plugs and switches, we have some stainless steel nickel package. Those are things that just help make it look a little bit better and fresher. So here's another bath.
That's the master bath there. So
let's just quickly breeze through these 2 rooms and give our summary. Oh yeah, another thing, blinds.
Part of our hardware package. It includes mini blinds, doorknobs, door stops, door hinges, any knobs or vent covers usually get replaced, shower rods, towel rings, towel bars, smoke detectors, all the little bits and pieces are part of this hardware package. And it really just brings a lot of, it just makes the whole property look more up to date and modern.
Right, love it. Okay, so there's a second bed. You can just breeze on through this third bed and we'll be out in the back in a bit. All right, so let's check out the backyard, and then that'll conclude where we're at.
So this yard was a jungle. I think we'll show some pre-renovation pictures, and it'll show you exactly what we're talking about. This, you couldn't even see this shed for one thing. It was completely surrounded in brush. This property line was covered with brush and shrubbery. They actually had a old jungle gym swing set sitting here.
It was like about to fall over.
Yeah, it was falling over. It went to pieces. The gate was off of the hinges and had fallen down. So we just did we just updated it.
Replaced the board.
Yeah, we replaced the structural part of it, put a new latch on it, and now it works perfectly. And so now you got a nice fenced-in backyard. Here's the brand new condenser here, and people love a nice, huge covered patio. This thing, like I said, these things rent themselves. This house was rented maybe a week into the renovations.
Right.
We had a deposit on the house, so.
So yeah, backyards typically we're just making it look clean. We're not. This isn't the Taj Mahal or anything per se, but we just keep it clean, keep it safe, looking for those major issues, fence damages. I love seeing those nice shingles, man, from the back. It's nice seeing a brand new roof, some great shingles, HVACs. Oh, we're also checking gutters and leakage and drainage. It does rain quite a bit in Memphis, so we're always checking where the water's going and things like that.
We had some gutter issues here, and we replaced all the downspouts, and we had some stuff falling down, so we tacked some stuff up. This is actually new siding right here. This whole fascia has been replaced. It's brand new.
Rotten stuff.
Anything rotten, we're going to replace. Anything water damage, we're going to replace.
Yeah, so that pretty much concludes our renovation walkthrough on this one. We will be snapping through, there'll be before pictures, so you can kind of see what we did to the property. But this is our pretty standard renovation on our properties, what it will look like, as needed per the property and per our discretion. So yeah, we take some pride, and that's one thing I really love about Derek and our team, and us, as you notice about us, is that Derek really takes ownership of what he does. He's always looking to improve. We track all of his metrics and numbers, and he's always trying to beat himself and beat we actually have three supervisors, so he's looking to beat him out and all that. So I love him, man.
Thank you. I appreciate being here again. I like I said, I love being held to a standard. I love to push myself to the next level and just see how much better I can get on every single house. So I love it.
All right, guys, thanks for checking us out on this deep dive on this renovation on this property. Till next time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the next session for the 2020 SOFA Summit. I'm pleased to share with you guys another deep dive into one of our neighborhoods here in Memphis, Tennessee. This is going to be a C-class neighborhood. It's going to be on the north side of town called Fraser. So the goal here is for you to understand how we analyze the deal, but also to get a better understanding of what the neighborhood looks like and the pros and cons of the individual investment itself. So let me share my screen here. And let's begin. All right, so here's the wonderful map of Memphis. And on the left-hand side, you have downtown Memphis. Over here in the middle is going to be our office. And so we are focusing on the north side of town for this video here. We're really lucky. It makes things really easy to analyze the different neighborhoods because we have the Mississippi River running north and south on the west-hand side of the city. So as time goes on, the developers just started moving east. So the farther east you go on the north side of town, the newer, the larger, and the more expensive the properties become. So since we're in A-class, B-class, and C-class neighborhoods, makes it really easy because here in Fraser, what we're going to talk about today, that's going to be a C-class neighborhood. So depending on where you are within Fraser, it could be C-, could be C+. Then we have Raleigh, just to the right or to the east of Fraser, and this is going to be a B as in boy class neighborhood. So you have B minus all the way up to B plus. And then the next neighborhood over is going to be Bartlett, Tennessee. Bartlett's predominantly an A class neighborhood. And then as you go out east, this is going to be Lakeland and even Arlington. This is what we call dollar signs, to where you can buy a house for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and you won't get any positive cash flow. So you might as well invest in your own backyard. So we focus on these three parts of town: Bartlett, Raleigh, and Fraser. And for today's session, we're going to dive deeper into the C class part, which is going to be Fraser. So being on the north side of town, this is just a suburb of Memphis. It takes us about 15 minutes to get from Fraser to our office. So quick drive. The individual tenant that lives here in Fraser, they have multiple options for employment. Most notably, they can work downtown. That's only 10 to 15 minutes away. It's also very blessed because we do have this overbuilt interstate system. A lot of our tenants, they live in Fraser because they want to be close to family and friends, but they'll work on the south side of town where a lot of the employment is located. And that's another thing that's great about Memphis is even during 5 o'clock traffic, you can zip around the city and get from one side to the other in just a few minutes. All right, so diving even deeper into the Fraser location, some things that we really like about this part of town is going to be that this massive white, oddly shaped rectangle roof is going to be Nike's largest distribution center in the world. It is 2.8 million square feet, and that's about 49 football fields under roof. So it's one of the largest distribution centers in the United States of America, and it's definitely Nike's largest. So every single package, every shoe, every piece of apparel that Nike ships, whether it's anywhere in the US or the world, will actually touch base here in Memphis so they can stay organized. So that's a major employment driver for the area. And then it was so successful because this was built just a few years ago, and it has been so successful that now Amazon just decided to build a facility right across the street in the parcel just to the north here, another massive distribution center. So let's pull this up here so you can zoom in a little bit. It's always nice to grab the little guy, and you can actually see just the sheer size of this distribution center. So a lot of our tenants will be working here, major employment driver for the area. Gotta love the Google car. It's absolutely massive. And then just on the north side over here, that's where Amazon's coming in and building one of their distribution centers as well. That's about their 6th distribution center that Amazon is building in the Memphis area. All right, so back to the Fraser neighborhood. Here's a really cool internal map that we have. Since we own the property management company, which started in 2002, we have a massive amount of data. We just listen to the feedback from our tenants of, where do you want to live? Where don't you want to live? And Memphis is a very street by street city. So you really have to listen to the feedback of the tenants. And so this map here, every single one of these green dots is a property that we actually just turnkeyed this year in 2020. And it's great because we can filter based off of the rent, based off of the purchase price. So that allows us to use our own internal comps. So we're not guessing when we set our rents, we're actually using real internal data. We've been so successful at hitting our rents in 2020 that we've actually hit every single one of our rents as on our pro forma on a 24-month lease before you as the investor actually closed and bought the property. So instant cash flow from day one. All of this has been since COVID has started, because COVID has caused a massive shift from tenants. They're leaving downtown, leaving the dense urban areas and moving into the suburbs And that's why we're having more leasing demand out here in the suburbs, so people can have a little bit of space, a nice yard. If you're going to be quarantined, you might as well have a few extra, bedrooms and square footage. So if you zoom in even more, the property that we're going to be talking about is on Suzanne Drive, and we're renting that property for $725. So what we do internally is we can click on a comparable sale and say, oh, a house that is very similar rented for a similar rent as well. So that's just one way, competitive advantage that we have here in the marketplace. All right, so now we're going to go to our Google Drive. This is what we call our due diligence vault. So this will have all the detailed information about each one of our properties here. So once again, always great to start off with the pro forma. Now, being in this section of Fraser is in a C+ neighborhood. So for a typical C-class property, you should expect a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, around 1,000 square feet, either with a driveway or some type of carport and covered parking. That's what we're seeing here in the Memphis area. And that's exactly what this house here, the subject, does on Suzanne. Property was built in the late 1950s. It's the average for our C-class properties. So that comes with its own set of pros and cons. Some investors want a property that is newer, built in the early 2000s or brand new construction. But normally those properties don't have as much cash flow. So with these C-class properties, the benefit here is that they have more cash flow from day one. All right, so this home sale price of $74,900 has a target rent of $725 a month, and we've used both of those pricing and target rents just based off of comparable sales. All right. Then that's going to give this property a net cash flow of $215 a month. This is after vacancy reserves, after maintenance reserves, after property management, all the property management fees, and all the associated expenses like taxes and insurance, things of that nature. So when you get a mortgage, put 20% down, 20% of the $75,000 is going to be about $15,000, plus your closing costs around just over $3,000, which will give you your initial cash invested. So this is what you need to spend to actually buy this property, $18,230. When you divide the net cash flow annually, $2,500, by your initial cash invested, make sure you include your closing costs on this. A lot of folks will leave that out to make their numbers look better, but that is one of the key things. You always want to make sure to calculate closing costs in your cash on cash return. So when you divide the two, your net cash flow by your initial cash invested, you will get a 14.2%, and that is your cash on cash return. So that is the best metric to use when comparing this investment with others. So that is the amount of positive cash flow that this investment will generate. Then property appreciation, we have 2.5%. That is extremely conservative in this neighborhood. Actually, this Fraser part of town, you should expect to have over a 5% appreciation. That's what it's been doing since 2016. So this neighborhood was actually the 4th fastest appreciating market in all of Memphis since 2016, which is one of the reasons why we really like it, because even our C-class properties have cash flow and appreciation, since Memphis is that hybrid market now that gets both. So then once you factor in mortgage principal reduction, meaning the tenant pays the rent and the rent covers your mortgage, and the mortgage is made up of your principal and interest payment. So the interest goes to the bank and the principal is what you get to keep. In theory, it's just locked into the house. That is increasing your net worth. So that is a return. And then the tax savings, this property here has a projected return of 34.9%. Once again, this is a pro forma. These are not guaranteed. So this is a projection, but we use all of these vacancy losses of 4%, the maintenance of 6%, because that's what you should expect in the Memphis market with our company using our management division. and getting a fully renovated turnkey property. So once again, projected 34.9% total ROI. That's why we love single family homes. That's why we love real estate. You can invest in this property all from the comfort of your home without ever having to actually come to Memphis. So now what's next that we recommend taking a look at is going to be our scope of work. And the goal here is for these to all be new. That's best case scenario here. So when it says new, once again, that means we're going to put on a new roof. We use 30-year architectural shingle roofs for these houses because they last longer, a little bit more expensive. But since we buy all of our materials in bulk, we can get a discount and give you a better product. We're going to install a new heating system, a new furnace. All of our properties have central AC, so you don't have to worry about window units. That's the really important item here in Memphis because it's hot. So we don't get much snow. You know, it may snow once and you can make a tiny little snowman, but it is going to be warm. So you want to make sure that that AC condenser is clean and working. Water heater is brand new. Then for hard surface floors, we focus on the luxury vinyl plank and the tile. You do not want carpet, especially in the C-class properties, because you are going to have to replace those between every turnover. All right, so then we'll also have our appliances. We will provide a brand new dishwasher. The tenant's going to bring their own range. We'll provide a Vent-A-Hood, and the tenant will bring their own refrigerator. The tenant will also bring their own washer and dryer. So once again, that's the norm here in Memphis. It's incredible. It's a little bit backwards, but it's great because those are the items that get used daily and have some of the highest expenses. Once again, you do not want, and you will not get that maintenance call for a broken ice machine. So then there's some extra really great answers to some FAQs down here at the bottom of the scope of work. If you do want the line item detailed scope upon request, you can just let us know and we're happy to share that. But once again, our renovations are just under for this house here is just under $30,000. All right. So what's next that we like to look at is going to be the photos on the property. So as you're analyzing the deals, you're just going to be seeing the pre-renovation photos. So the price that we have on the pro forma, that will include the renovations. So when we present the homes to you as an investor, we are going to be doing our renovation. It'll take about 30 to 45 days to complete. So you have to have a little bit of an imagination when you look at the pre-renovation photos. And we're more than happy to furnish you with some other photos of the properties that we've completed in the past, so you can have a nice walkthrough of them. But as you can see, not the best shape, needs a lot of love. Looks to be a family that just didn't take good care of the property here. You can see some roof leaks up here, some roof stains from the old roof. It's probably a leak. So that's one of the things that we're going to check out on the renovations, and one of the reasons why we're going to be putting on the new roof as well. All right. So then that's a full overview of the property from your computer. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go to the property where we have Sean Tagge and Eric Hobbs, who works on our acquisitions team, and they're going to do a little walkthrough and talk a little bit more about what they look at when they're trying to buy these properties that are distressed, how they're creating the rehab budget. And so you can also get a better view of the property and the neighborhood. So back to you, Sean.
Hey guys, Sean Tagge here, and our acquisitions manager, Mr. Eric Hobbs.
Yeah, Eric Hobbs here, yeah, acquisitions. We buy houses. How you guys doing?
Yeah, so Eric helps us buy almost all of our properties here on our team. He's going talking to motivated sellers, negotiating down the prices, and getting good properties for us to fix up and sell to investors. So this property is 3682 Suzanne. It's located in Fraser, 38127 zip code. Definitely a C plus neighborhood. So this is kind of more on the lower end of neighborhood classes that we sell, but have great cash flow. And so yeah, let's go into this property. And Eric, you can kind of walk us through the things you're looking for as we're going to buy the houses.
Sure. No, absolutely. Thanks for that, Sean. Some of the first thing, obviously, you know, when we're outside and we're first pulling up to a property and we first get here, and you can see the roof here. So like we've already put a new roof on the property. That's one of the first things that I'm looking at when I pull up to a home. And then obviously curb appeal, the yard stuff. Some of the first things we do is actually get the yard ready, put a dumpster out front to kind of get ready to clean the property out so that our crew can start working to start doing all the things they need to do. Right. A lot of times when I'm looking at these, I'm actually looking for, you know, major things like foundation issues. Right. When I'm outside and I'm checking, I'm looking for condenser age. You know, I'm taking the AC. So I'm taking a picture of the serial number so I can look it up later to try to figure out the actual age of the unit, so that we, you know, so we don't keep old units in the properties and we can replace those.
So let's go on inside and chat some more about it. Come on in.
Sure. Yeah. Come on in.
So Eric, when we first bought this house, what was it looking like?
Oh man, it was rough, had a lot of stuff in it, you know, right? You know, the walls needed painting, the floors obviously needed repairs, updating on kitchens and bathrooms. You know, pretty much, you know, kind of almost what I call the grandmother special, where you got to come in and update, you know, everything inside the property. Yeah, we, you know, currently I see right now we got a full-blown deal going on.
Yeah, so this property is a little bit under rented. We just bought it a couple weeks ago. We got the paint in and everything. Still needs floors, obviously, and that's Eric's looking for. So he's going out. We have about a 4-page budget, and you line item each thing out, right? Measure the square footage and just estimate the rental cost to make sure we have enough funds to do a full good renovation for our investors.
Sure, yeah, definitely doing that on every single property with the budget, just estimate it right to make sure that we are buying these at the right, you know, at the right price point.
Right, I love it. Also, Eric, weren't you a home inspector back in the day?
Yeah, man. So cool. Funny story. I did go get my home inspector certified as a home inspector, right? Yeah. And it's just to perfect my craft, right, in renovations. And so the home inspector deal, I actually learned a lot. Just, you know, little things to look for. Yeah, little things to look for when you're looking at houses. You know, major things are foundations and roofs and AC units and water heaters, floors. Yeah. Those are big things, and so that's the stuff I'm looking for in all the properties.
Making sure we do those up front. And then, yeah, Eric, he's also renovated a lot of properties on your own as well, right?
Yeah, man. So, man, it's crazy. That's another crazy number, right? I believe the number is probably over 1,000 properties in the Memphis area that I've renovated, been a project manager over, you know, in the last probably 5 to 7 years in the Memphis market.
So that's why we got Eric on our team. He's a great person to have, you know, a great arsenal. He's got great experience. And now he's one of our main acquisitions manager. Yeah. So let's go on through this kitchen, kind of talk through this. All right, so looks like new countertops. That's pretty much typically, we always have that almost all the time, unless they're in good shape. Kind of looks like they're repositioning some of the cabinetry here, fixing out the rotten wood, if any, repainting them.
Yeah.
So kitchens, yeah. What are things to look for?
Well, you know, the main things is when I'm looking at these kitchens, obviously I'm looking inside of the cabinets. And what you're looking for inside the cabinets to make sure the cabinets are not rotted out in certain places.
Especially under the sink,
Especially
right?
under
There
the
might be
sink.
like drip in there. We're looking if it's rotten down below, if we need to replace them or repair them.
That's right. So they can be repaired. You know, some of them are, you know, irreparable. And so in that situation, you know, you're going to replace the cabinets or whatever.
Right.
And so we just need to make sure that we're looking at those things budget-wise to make sure that we're calculating, new cabinets versus repair of cabinets.
Right.
Because if you know, that could be a ticket that could throw the numbers off a little
Right.
bit.
And also, if the cabinet's rotted down below the sink especially, then that probably means the plumbing in there.
It's probably a leak,
I
right?
got to redo that plumbing, things like that as well, and then the sinks and all that. So
No, you're absolutely right, Sean. Totally right. Yeah.
So yeah, this is just kind of a smaller house, but yeah, there's that. Let's keep walking through the rooms. You can kind of point out, so there's tile. You're looking for little tile cracks, flooring.
Yeah, and so in here, what you have, I'm looking at the floors, right? And as I look at them, and I get down here, I'm trying to see what type of floors are down here. So if they're the original hardwood, the nail down floors that, back in the day in the houses like 1960s, 70s, and maybe even like early 80s, they put this hardwood floors down in most of the properties. These can be easily resanded, refinished, and they look brand new.
Yeah.
And so we want to keep them if we can. If not, obviously we go back with our LPV. Vinyl throughout the property.
Right, so you just kind of determine if they're too scratched away, you don't do it. These ones, obviously, we're gonna probably just LVP.
LVP these
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, they painted over these a couple times,
Right.
and they really just took some paint, and that's just the previous seller, right? The previous owner just took it and ran across the floors with it. Yeah,
Yep.
it's not the best way, but hey, it works for some people.
Yeah, I guess we can show this bathroom. So what are you looking for in the bathrooms typically? Yeah, this one obviously still needs a lot more room. Just bought it. Just kind of good for you guys to see the before of what we're looking at. We definitely put some elbow grease in our renos.
Yeah, the bathroom, obviously, like the kitchen, is one of the other big ticket items. And one of the major things that we're looking for, because where water is located at, you have to look for like joist issues, right? Because that's where you probably find subfloor issues in the bathroom area. And another thing, we want the bathroom to look really nice. So most times we are probably in cases that need it, where we're taking down the shower surrounds and putting them new shower surrounds, to give it that look, that finished look that kind of, obviously helps rent the property out, just as fast as it sells.
Right. So let's peer on through these other bedrooms real quick. So yeah, you can tell this one.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about previously. This was the original floors, and then obviously you got a major repair issue here that's already been kind of leveled out. So obviously, now you could come back through and repair this. It's just the cost of it.
Right.
So the best way to do it is do our LPV and just put it all the way through, and it should look brand new at that point.
It'll look nice. All right, so then exterior wise, we're looking at the yard and everything like that. Kind of talk about that. Fences as well around the yard.
Yeah, so a lot of things that I think even the new investors or new people get into this. Fencing is one of those things that we overlook because fencing is actually one of the most expensive things that you're gonna do in a property. It's probably up, top. It's definitely top 5. Item wise.
Besides the roof, HVAC, water heater, flooring, it's probably right.
It's right there at 5. So you got to think about it. You put $1,500, $2,000 to put a fence up. And it's needed. It's well needed. And so fencing, and when I say fencing, I'm talking about privacy fencing, right? And I'm not talking about your regular chain link fences. Right. I'm talking about privacy fences. And the reason we do these is obviously rentability. It helps the property rent. Right. If I'm renting a property, the tenant wants to have privacy in their backyard. Dogs or whatever the case may be.
Well, so diving in a little bit more on you, as people so they can understand our team, how many houses are you looking at a day and a week about?
Sure, yeah, man. So on average, and I'm running math on this, I'm looking at in a month's time, a week's time, about 20 properties, in a month's time, about 80 properties a month. And for me to look at that many, I basically buy about 20 or more in a month's time with those numbers. Kind of vary, up or down in that case. But it takes me to look at 70 to 80 properties to purchase 15 to 20 homes.
Right, and so the people, what are the typical people who are selling to you? What are the typical issues you're seeing with them?
Sure. And so a lot of the people that I'm meeting with, Sean, are distressed, right? I mean, unfortunately, I meet with people that are either going through divorces or people that are selling because of inheritance. Somebody passed away, probate, right? Or, I'm meeting people that can't afford, unfortunately, down the road, they can't afford the repairs. That's right. So they can't put it on the market, list it with a realtor, and get the money that they need to get to move to their next home. So most of the time I'm meeting people in those type of situations, and obviously, the biggest thing that we promote here at We Buy Houses is that we want to help the people, right? And so I want to come off more as a person that's helping somebody first versus just buying their home.
Right, and that's what we focus on. And sometimes we'll even guide them to, hey, go list it with a realtor, or you can do the repairs yourself. You might get a better scenario. Even if they take that or not, we're still happy to kind of consult them, give them some guidance.
Yeah, I definitely give them all those
options. And we're an option, and sometimes that is what they need. They don't have the money to do the repairs, the time, the willingness, and we have the team and the repairs to do it. And we can do the repairs cheaper than most people.
That's right.
Our crews.
Yeah, and we can typically get it done faster for them, so they don't have to wait, 3 months to sell it, or we can quickly get it done in a quicker period.
Right. So yeah, that's our process, guys. Hopefully it's good for you guys to kind of see our before of one of our renovations and get familiar with kind of the Fraser area. These types of houses, kind of smaller in the Fraser area, a little older. This one is one of our more smaller houses.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that's our process with buying. We buy houses. What we're looking at, we got a home inspector, a guy who's renovated 1,000 homes, so he's looking at all these up front, making sure we can do our full reno, so that way you're getting a nice finished out house. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Whoa, hold up now. Hope you enjoyed that last session. Before we introduce the next one, we want to let you know what's the best way to win this beautiful Yeti cooler here. So all you have to do is provide the best comment or question, and we will send this off to one lucky investor by the end of the day today.
Right. This Yeti is provided by a gold level sponsor, Closed Track Title Company. It's owned by the attorney Greg Ziskin. He's been working with us for years and decades. He knows his stuff about searching for your title, providing excellent communication. His team is awesome here. So we're so grateful for him for sponsoring this event, making sure it's occurring. So please comment. If you don't comment, you don't win. Not a chance.
Closed Track is the best, and so is this Yeti cooler. So let's dive into the next session.
All right. Hey everyone, Sean Tagge here signing in for another video. Today's a real exciting one. I'm going to be talking about our first apartment syndication that we bought. We have bought other apartment complexes by ourselves with our own capital. This was the first one though where we raised money with other investors and syndicated it to buy an apartment complex. So it's real exciting because this gives us the opportunity to bring other investors to join in on the properties that we invest in ourselves. So why don't we dive on into this presentation. I'm going to share my screen real quick with you. So Shelby Point Townhomes was the name of the complex that we just bought. We bought it in May, end of May 2020, so very recently. It was located at 1500 East Shelby Drive. That is just a few miles west of FedEx International Airport. We definitely know this area very well. We had 2 other apartment complexes that we already own in this area. So why don't we dive on into Our team, first off. So we created a new entity called Southern States Apartment Group, just another entity to separate us out from our other companies, because we are the sole purpose of this company is to raise money, buy apartment complexes with other investors, and to manage it for them. So here's the dream team that was assembled. Jim Reedy, as you know him, great guy, 45 years of experience in real estate in Memphis, Tennessee. I cannot name too many people who have more experience than him, especially in this submarket of Memphis. Brad Reedy, his son, has been working with Jim as his right-hand man for over 10 years, has worked with hedge funds to help them buy thousands of units over the years. Myself, Sean Tagge, on the team as Chief Operating Officer, Mark Hart, Chief Investment Officer, and Jay Reedy, Jim's son, Brad's brother. He is living in Spokane, Washington area, and he's renovating multifamily apartment complexes, has done other syndications. So everyone knows a thing or two about real estate and brings their own strengths and weaknesses to the table. So our objectives for purchasing this house and any apartment complex is 4, to be specific. 1, preservation of capital. 2, income. 3, tax efficiency. And 4, capital gains. Capital preservation, first and foremost, is the most important thing, right? The money we put into the deal, we don't want to lose that. As Warren Buffett says, his first rule of investing is don't lose money, and his second rule is don't lose money. So we want to be good stewards of the money that we're raising from other investors and treat it like our own. Number one, because we are putting a lot of our own money into these deals. In this deal specific, we put in almost nearly half of the capital needed to perform on this deal. So we're treating it like it's our own, and we're trying to mitigate our risks as best we can. We're trying to control all the things that are in our control with the property management, the renovation, the tenants we put in there, everything like that, and also watching out for the things that we can't control by running conservative numbers and performing our due diligence on the property. Second objective is to produce income, right? We want cash flow. That's why we're in the game of real estate, is for long-term cash flow. That is done by increasing our income and decreasing our expenses. We increase our income by maximizing rents, by renovating the property as high as we can, but not too high and not too low, to not over or under renovate it. Then also watching out with the tenants that we put in there, trying to qualify them, seeing how we can get them to stay there as long as possible to reduce vacancies, and also collect rent from them, making sure they're well qualified and can pay. Second, decreasing operational expenses, being efficient with the staff that we hire, hiring great staff that is friendly, that can be watching out for us. Also, ordering materials in bulk is one of the advantages we have that helps people out and reduces our expenses. Thirdly is tax efficiencies. I think this is a big game changer that a lot of people don't really consider in real estate, but sometimes this is the only reason some people invest in real estate is for tax efficiencies. When you're running a high income and in one of those highest tax brackets, every dollar you can write off is an awesome play. So what's awesome about real estate is that we definitely have accountants and CPAs that help us out, and we track as much as we can to write off, legally, morally, and ethically, of course, and just be tracking that to help out reduce our tax burdens and liabilities. Fourth, capital gains. We want to force appreciation, add value. All of our deals, we're looking to raise the rents, increase the occupancy, manage it better, just everything like that under the sun to increase the capital gains on the property. That is done by increasing the net operating income, which therefore, depending on what the cap rate is per the market, will automatically increase the value. And that's what's awesome about multifamily investing, is that it's not based on what a homeowner would pay for it, based on the look. It's based on what the income is at. And that's something very controllable and something very predictable that you can do. So here's our competitive advantages as on this deal and all of our multifamily deals, and for our partners and the other people that helped syndicate this with us. Number one, we're a turnkey provider. We know Memphis inside and out. We've renovated and sold 260 houses alone in 2019, and over the past couple of years, around 250 homes a year. And we're currently working with 700 other investors all over the world. So we know what it's like to communicate with them. We know what it's like, the questions they have living far away and investing out of state, hundreds of miles away. We know all those ins and outs. We have an in-house property management company, which I think is really huge. It aligns the interests, right? We want that to produce, instead of the property management company just wanting to collect fees and income, they actually want the asset to produce well and have a great track record there. Our property management company, Reading Company, was voted the #4 best place to work in 2019 for mid-level size companies. We manage 2,700 doors, a lot of experience. We also have a 5,000 square foot warehouse where we can buy materials in bulk and pass those savings on. And we also have lots of crews lined up that also give us bulk discounted rates for the amount of volume and work we provide them. Experience. The Reedy family, along with myself and Mark and all of us combined, have purchased over 600 apartment complexes in the past 24 months. So a lot of experience from each person. Obviously, 45 years experience in the Memphis market says a lot alone. Jim has renovated over 6,000 units over his career. I don't think there's anyone in town that has renovated more than him, specifically in this space and in this field. So a lot of experience with renovations. Also, we have a brokerage. We're licensed in Tennessee and Mississippi. So that gives us validity, lets us know the comps, helps us have negotiating power when getting these deals done and trying to buy them, because you make the money when you buy. So here's our track record. Most of these were bought by Jim Reedy solely with his family and maybe close friends and relatives, but mainly just under our experience. We really wanted to take down a lot of deals on our own before we open this up to other investors, just because we're worried. We really wanted to perform well. We wanted to make the mistakes on our end, learn the little kinks along the way with our own deals before learning that with someone else's money. So here's all the deals that have been done and completed in the past 36 months or so. I'll just kind of go over a few. Sherwood Forest, 108 unit, purchased in January 2020. That one just recently, they're planning on refinancing pretty soon. It's been performing well. Oak Grove, purchased in September of 2018, 163 unit. That one has already been refinanced. That helped us learn a lot on what we can project. It can refinance for a couple of years later, and obviously a big play because that gets a lot of the risk off the table, able to put a lot of our original capital put back into our pocket. Beverly Springs was the first deal done start to finish, where buy, renovate, refinance, resell, make a profit, know the numbers, everything in between. Summer East, 120 unit in March 2018. That one's been refinanced, helped us get a lot of data from the second appraisal when it was refinanced, what lenders are looking for and everything in between. Waring Park Flats, I was personally involved in that one, purchased in March of 2019. We were able to raise rents around 150 to 200 bucks a month on that, put in over a $1.5 million renovation. We plan on refinancing Q1 of 2021. Graceland Flats, 100 units roughly, June and July of 2018, and the refinance has been completed. Chambliss, a 36 unit, refinance has been completed. So a lot of deals, a lot of experience, a lot of paperwork, lessons learned, and we've just brought all those lessons and the little tweaks and the nuances and how to renovate these properties quickly and efficiently over time, how to push rents not too high but not too low, and everything in between. We've brought on a great management team, hired great people for all these properties to manage. Just learned so much from all these deals and experience. Now let's dive into the assets. So on 1500 East Shelby Drive, it was first called South Point Townhomes, and we decided to actually rebrand the entire complex just because of the bad name it had, how it wasn't being managed very well from the previous owner. The property is 124 units, it's 2 stories, and it's 1,100 square feet, all the same, 2 1.5. What's nice is they're townhomes, so just one side, the top and bottom floor, is rented by one tenant. That way you don't have a tenant above and a tenant below each other, and the top tenant is playing like bowling or something up top, or at least it sounds like that. So that way they're kind of separated out a little bit more. All they're doing is sharing a wall. It was built in 1973. We would definitely call this a C, maybe a C plus asset in Memphis. What the value play is that it was very under rented and under managed and under occupied. So the current rents are at $550, and as you can see, they haven't been increasing them at all, where really market rent is at $725 a month. So a big value there to increase. What we did and how you do multifamilies is you really got to dive into those rents and see if you can add value in the rents and what it would cost to renovate that to add the value. So we ran the comps using some data and everything like that's provided by CoStar. What was awesome about the comps is number 1 comp, Graceland Flats, and number 3 over here, we both own those assets, right? We own both of them. So we knew what the comps would be. We knew what we could push rents to. Very similar square footage on the Chambliss Village especially. And we saw that we had that property 100% occupied. And we had a lot of people interested when anything went vacant. So we knew we could push rents to $695, $725 pretty easily. And so we decided to run very conservatively, even with market rent at $725. We put our analysis at year 2 to be fully stabilized at $695 rent. So that was the big play there, just looking at those comps. Here's the aerial view of the asset over several buildings and doors in the red area. What's nice about the asset, it's located on Shelby Drive, which is a busy street, lots of traffic there. So you get a lot of people going by the sign. We put a nice sign there up on the street, a lot of foot traffic and people coming through, interest, but also it's not located on the busy street because as you can see, it's behind some commercial buildings tucked away. Then also is this neighborhood nearby is a really nice neighborhood for the area, nice large 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, a lot of homeowners in that area, and we know that area with our turnkey model. We would love to buy in that area. It's a little bit harder because homeowners are buying in that area, but we do some turnkey flips in that area as well. So we know the area very well. So here's the investment strategy. What we did on this property is we rebranded the complex day one. It was really just to show there's a new sheriff in town. We're going to totally revitalize this area. We performed the exterior renovations first just to make it look totally fresh as new tenants were walking in there and justifying the increase in rents to the current tenants as their leases expired. We just showed it was a great renovation. Totally, as you can see from this picture, the siding was dilapidated, the roofs were leaking through, the brick was all dirty, so we repainted the whole exterior, reshingled and everything like that to just really make it look nice. We put in nicer sidewalks in many areas. There are some trip hazards, some minor erosion issues we fixed up with some retaining walls, the fencing along the perimeter, did a big exterior renovation to make it look nice, remove some trees, everything like that. Then we'll renovate in blocks of 5 to 15 units. We actually started with 30 units at the first little go around because of the economies of scale. Once a worker replumbs or repipes something in one unit, it's the same unit in the next one. He can just go, knows exactly how to cut everything, can cut it 10 or 30 times, for all of his plumbing and sheetrock and everything in between. So it really helped our economies of scale by it being quite vacant at purchase. And then as we lease up more, we'll keep renovating more blocks of 5 to 15, depending on demand, until we get 100% fully renovated and up to that higher rent value. The big value was we added washers and dryers into the units. A lot of people shy away from that because it's a harder renovation to do, takes more work, but we saw that it could increase the rent so much more based on the renovation cost that it would cost to do that. Also, it just makes it so people want to stay in the units longer because they're like, well, I got washers and dryers here. Everywhere else has a laundromat, or I have to go somewhere else to get my laundry done. Then obviously the big thing was to increase the occupancy and the rents. Then our plan was in 2 to 3 years to refinance, pull a portion of our cash out, and continue to manage well and increase rents as the market allows. Then in 7 to 12 years after the refinance or the total hold time, plan to exit as pricing and market conditions allow. So there's the plan. I'm going to dive into some numbers here. Just reading a little reminder here. The managers of Southern States Apartment Group do not provide legal advice. We're not presenting this as an investment opportunity. It's something we've already done. All prospective investors are encouraged to seek their own tax, financial, and legal guidance. All this financial information I'm providing, it's reliable, but it's not guaranteed. Our performance and projections are estimated and subject to change, and the managers shall be held harmless if returns are not met. All investments have risks. Investors are urged to perform their own due diligence, right? Something our lawyers make us say every time. So here's our high-level projections on this deal. Yet again, just something we already bought, and here's how we kind of analyzed it and underwrote the deal. We bought it for $3.45 million. We had a $2.6 million renovation budget, and we got a loan that factored in the reno and the purchase of $4.65 million. The rate was 4.75 with a 3-year balloon and a 25-year AM put on it. What was nice is we got interest payments, only payments for the first 15 months, because as we're renovating it and it's not very occupied at the beginning, it was nice just to pay interest only. What was also nice about the loan is as we did the renovation, we were only charged of the loan outstanding loan balance. So as we did the renovation, we could get draws against that renovation budget. And so we weren't charged the full 4.65 loan at the beginning. Over time, we just kind of give them our bills and they do an inspection to make sure we did those repairs and we got loan draws. So that helped our numbers as well, not being charged interest on the full loan amount. The annual debt payment would be $326,000. We had a down payment of $1.4 million, some closing costs of $105,000. We as the managers charged a 1% acquisition fee for finding the deal. doing due diligence on it, all the paperwork and overhead. And we had a working capital / reserves of $372,000 to kind of mitigate a operational loss for the first 3 months, 3 to 6 months, also to pay the rehab first and then get the draws to backfill that. So total investment was just under $2 million. The current rents were $550 a month a door, and the occupancy was just under 70% occupied, and also with some tenants not paying and when we did our due diligence. As we projected rents at year 2 to be $695 a month and at 92% occupied, even though our other 2 comps, one of them was 100% occupied and at pushing $725 a month, which is a very similar comp as mentioned. So very conservative numbers we ran. At year 9, we projected to have an NOI of $677,000, which was kind of like our target exit date. That would give us a sell price at an 8 cap, which is yet again a conservative cap rate. They're running at a 7.5, 7.75 in this area. So just a little bit higher of a cap rate, showing a lower and conservative estimation of about 8.4 million sell. And we get a net proceed of 2.3 million from mortgage pay down, the appreciation and everything like that, and cash flow during that interim. So just giving you guys an update of what we had, what's been happening. So we bought it in May. So we've owned it for about 3-4 months now. Big update on the rent. We had a projection of $695 after 2 years of owning it. Right now, day 1, we rented one. Oh, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. So $695 a month. We rented one at $695 a month. Then we rented 7. We're like, that's too quick. There's so many people wanting this property, wanting to rent it, seeing that we're renovating the unit so nice. Once we got a model unit up, we had 7 people rented at $725 a month. And then we saw, you know what, that's too low. So then we raised it to $750 a month, and we're actually thinking of pushing it to $775 a month. Anyways, just showing we had a great team member, on-site property manager, that was letting us know the leasing activity, and weekly, monthly, we would adjust and raise these rents as the market allows. We also want, you don't want to raise them too high to not have a big enough saturation, because obviously you want to get out of the operational loss as it's vacant at the beginning, but also you do want higher rents, because every $25 adds up over time. Times it by 12, divided by an 8 cap, you can see it's a huge, huge value out of play. So our renovation update, we project to be slightly below budget. We've had some actuals on the exterior especially. We're probably going to be a little bit under, probably like 100,000 under on the renovation budget, which is around $1.25 million on the renovation. And we project to be on time completion, maybe even sooner to refinance, because of the stabilization is going so quick. So we're hitting our projections, we're hitting our numbers. We had conservative numbers, so that's why it's kind of easy to hit our projections. A communication update is that our team meets up monthly and goes over this deal. We get a renovation update, a leasing update, financials. We rework our projections. That's something our team does and is really watching over this asset like a hawk. Next is we have monthly investor updates. We're updating our investors with a video communication, some financials, everything like that every month, especially during the renovation phase, and showing them all that. So what we project on doing is at year 2, now with even a higher rent amount, average rents, at $695, we projected to have a refinance at about 30-40% of our capital put in. We'd be able to pull out, leaving the other 60%, and get like a long-term 30-year fixed Fannie Freddie loan, or like a life insurance loan. Those are just great loans, really makes the deal stable. And then from there, we were planning on having great returns from there, and just raising the rents slightly, 2.5% every year, until that year 9 where we had that exit projection. So those were our projections on the deal. As you can see, we're trailing well towards that, feeling great and confident. Who knows how things go, right? This is real estate where things go up or down, but at least we feel good. We ran things pretty conservatively and are hitting things at least right now. So thank you so much for watching this slide, guys. We're so happy that I could kind of share some of our knowledge and experience that we've done in buying this apartment complex. Hopefully it gives you some insight, some inspiration, and wisdom. Let us know if you have any questions. You want to talk more about multifamily apartment complexes. It's our passion, our pride, and single family, of course, as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourself at the summit. Have a good one.
Hey guys, I'm Brad Reedy from Memphis Investment Properties and Reedy & Company Realtors. Glad you all could join us today. COVID has thrown a wrench in our annual event with our investors and sponsors, so like many things these days, we have gone virtual. It is bittersweet not having many of you all in town, but we are able to reach many more people and have over 300 signed up. I am going to be talking quickly about our apartment investing and rental demand. I hope you enjoy and learn something. We have always owned a few smaller apartment buildings in the past, with single family being the bulk of our investments. When the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was signed into law in September of 2017, we took a strong look at getting more invested into apartment communities. With bonus depreciation, we are able to write off 100% of items with schedules shorter than 20 years. Since we are usually buying value add and even heavily distressed assets, there are extreme tax advantages with heavy renovations. We have bought 776 units since March of 2018 and recently opened up our first syndication or crowdfunding with the acquisition of the Shelby Point townhomes. As Sean talked about it, we want to continue going down this path and bring you guys in with us. When buying these apartment communities, we are looking for underperforming assets in parts of town that we know well. Many owners are not up to snuff on rental rates and don't have boots on the ground with local knowledge. We typically can raise rents 25 to 35% with a $15,000 to $23,000 renovation per unit. After 18 to 24 months, we are then able to refinance into permanent life insurance debt at historically low rates and return 60 to 75% of our capital back. Terms on this debt today are usually 10 years with a 25-year amortization with rates in the mid 3% range. This is balance sheet debt, not bondholder debt, therefore more favorable covenants and restrictions. For example, on August 26th of this year, we locked in a $7.5 million loan with a rate of 3.40 on 163 units behind our office. The math is extremely attractive to us. Memphis has always been a blue-collar town that has had small and steady appreciation in population growth. Prior to the 2008 crash, Shelby County home builders were building 3,000 to 4,000 homes a year. Since the crash, that number has hovered around 1,000. The majority of these homes have been higher-priced homes for second and third-time home buyers. This has left a large deficit of affordable housing in this town. Very few, if any, affordable housing in the multifamily side has been built since the crash as well. Like every major city since the crash, the majority of multifamily buildings have taken place in the midtowns and downtown cores geared toward millennials. We are seeing this trend slowly reversing as millennials are getting older and because of COVID. We have the lowest percentage of available rental inventory since I started in 2010. We are signing up roughly 92% of our single-family tenants on 24-month leases with a 4% kicker month 13. I do not see the demand slowing down until home building picks up dramatically. Thank you for your time, and I hope you and your families have a safe and wonderful rest of 2020.
Woo!
What a day. What a day.
What a day, guys. Man, we are all wrapped up today. What a great conference. This was our first virtual event, man. It was such an accomplishment on our end.
Yeah.
It was a really big undertaking. We had our whole entire team involved in this. It was my pleasure to kind of show you guys around the areas of town and everything like that. I hope you liked it and enjoyed it. We've been telling from some of the comments. You guys have some great questions, great insight for us. So thank you so much for attending.
Yeah, and this Yeti cooler is still available, so we appreciate our gold sponsor from Close Track. And there is another way to win this. For you, we want some feedback from you. So if you could answer the question of what was your favorite part and what was your biggest takeaway from the entire weekend?
There you go. We will weigh that heavily for the giveaway because that means you're watching till the end and also you're giving us great feedback on what you learned. So yeah, guys, it was awesome to go through the neighborhoods, deep dive into all these different properties. It was also our honor to show you the hard work we're putting in. You know, our team, our renovation crews, they're out there sweating or freezing in the winter, making sure your properties get rented, making sure they're clean and safe. We're really turning around the communities here in Memphis, Tennessee, and providing a great, clean, and safe asset and a great investment to our investors.
Yeah, I hope you found a lot of value in the investor interview with Steve. We just really appreciate you guys because we couldn't be here without you. So we want to let you know that there is an open invitation to come hang out with us on this sofa at any time. Just reach out to me, let me know. We would love to show you around the city and introduce you to everyone that you just saw this weekend.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for attending, and we wish you well on your path to becoming a passive income machine.